Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 live in studio. Parker Kelly on the ones and twos. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Cory, thanks for coming in. I know it's got to be a good week for you with the Bears in first place.
It's not easy to be the best, but for a week we'll handle it. And I say for a week we'll handle it.
7-3, and we were just talking with Robbie on the way out. You've got the owner of the Bears coming in this week with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, thanks, man. That's really nice of you. That's really nice of you. How's his career gone lately?
They're in first place as well.
Okay. Who would you rather have right now, Caleb or Aaron?
Caleb Williams.
All right, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully he doesn't go to some isolation hut for 3 days.
Maybe he has to prepare for the Bears in the only way he knows how, with the darkness retreat.
Hopefully he doesn't skip a mandatory minicamp to go to Egypt.
There's been a lot of skipping stuff going on in the NFL this week too. With CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I believe they skipped something, and that's why they were dropped off. Abdul Carter fell asleep in the team facility and missed a walkthrough, and so
what is happening?
I don't know.
I mean, look, I know everybody gets upset about punishing these guys. It's professionalism,
right?
Be a pro.
And we heard in the Titans locker room this week of like Arden Key saying that the veteran guys can't just tell young guys what to do, and they'll do it these days. So maybe that's part of what
that's
it is.
Troubling.
It is.
That's troubling.
I think we're seeing more of it as we go along. And
I think part of that is the results. There's a young player. There's two ways to go on that. One is, gosh, I need all the help I can get. The other is, these guys aren't winning. Why am I listening to them? And I think that's probably and look, I don't know if they're talking about JC and Tavondre. I don't know. All right. But if they are, when you look at guys like that, and I'm just saying it for instance, a lot of these guys come from places where they win a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now they're not winning, and it's a test for them, how they handle it. And it's not just Tavondre and JC. I mean, I just use them as examples because they're players everybody knows. But like I said, most of these guys come from places where they win a lot.
I'm sure it wasn't specifically targeted at just JC and Tavondre. I would guess it was targeted at a larger group of some of the young players. But when you listen to what Jeffrey Simmons said,
I think there's not much room for error there.
Right. Jeffrey Simmons, we need to protect the quarterback, and we can't have false starts.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at big number 55 right there. And of course, we already have the history with Simmons and Latham.
Yeah. Well. We saw it in the locker room. So, we don't need the report, what happened on the practice. We saw it in the locker room.
Yes.
You heard it.
Titans are now 1-9. 16-13 was the final in that game against the Texans. Cam Ward made some plays down the stretch to get them into the end zone, tie it at 13. You end up losing, and we were saying it as we went on. I've said it this week that I think if you're a Titans fan, that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, competitive games, but you still pick first.
Right. You see your young quarterback make some plays, and you still find a way to lose in a close one.
When you're clamoring for success, though, that when you've got the opportunity, then it just becomes disappointing again.
Yeah.
And suddenly the number one pick isn't what you're thinking about when you got a chance to win the game with a minute to go. And, I was really glad to hear Cedric Gray say what he said after the game. The defense played really well. But on 3rd and 16 on the game-winning drive, they don't get the stop. It's a great throw and a great catch by a gigantic receiver. And sometimes there's not much you can do about it, but you got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd and 16. And, that's the difference between winning and losing. You still may not win the game, but you give yourself a chance.
Yeah. There were still 40-something seconds on the clock heading into that play. So if that's incomplete, you get a chance to see if you can get into field goal range for Joey Sly. But obviously didn't work out that way. Texans kicked the game-winning field goal and improved to 5-5. Titans 1-9. For Cam Ward, it was, I would say, not a great day for him overall. I think the accuracy was off for the most part. You did see some strides of
it's a mixed bag
running the ball. We talked about that. Mike McCoy said on Monday of last week that they want Cam Ward to be more willing to run the football instead of running to make a throw. If you see space in front of you, take it. And he did that on that last drive for a big gain.
And it's not just about creating 2nd and 5. It's about, I can move the chains here. I mean, there's times where it's like, okay, it's 3rd and 5 or whatever. I can move the chains. Just take it and get yourself 3 new downs. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for him to run 10 times a game or 8 times a game or even 5 times a game. Just those 2 or 3 times when you can move the chains or there's just no place to go. Because there are times where he ends up holding on to the ball until the rush arrives and then he unloads it. And it's fine. It's incomplete. But there are times where he holds on to the ball where he could just go run and get something. And, it's that whole thing of him, always wanting the big play.
Hunting the big play, yeah.
And I get that. But, there's one Josh Allen, one Patrick Mahomes in the lead, and they're both willing to run the ball.
Yeah.
They hold on to it, but they also both take off and get yards. And again, he's a rookie. We have to be willing to accept the good with the bad. Now, that changes over time without question, but it's not, I always go back to like, who is the kid the Jets drafted first? Zach
Wilson.
He was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was like, you watch, you're like, oh my God, he's horrible. And like, there wasn't much doubt there. Now I'm gonna have somebody send me numbers that say, oh, see, he was better. No, you watched him. He had no clue what he was doing.
He was hitting defensive backs in between the numbers multiple times.
He had no clue what he was doing. And I'm not there with Cam Ward. All right. There's good and there's bad. I really liked how quickly he got rid of the football last week. I think it was part of the game plan. I think it was a smart part of the game plan when you see who's coming after him. And I liked, that part of it. I liked his willingness to run the ball. I liked his last drive. They got a big call that went their way on that drive. That certainly helped.
Yes, they did.
But they took advantage of it.
That was a questionable PI call, but I think there were some other ones that didn't go their way.
Look, there's no question the guy held his arm.
Yes.
There's no question. But are we used to seeing the Titans get that call? No. Are we used to seeing it go against them? Yes. All right. So, they took advantage of it. They scored their game-winning touchdown drive. The play was set up extremely well and executed extremely well. I like all that. Having said that, missed opportunities. All right. There's some missed opportunities that don't come along that often in the NFL that have to be executed.
Yeah.
And whether it's the receivers or the quarterback or the combination of the two, that's got to be complete.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the one pass. There's like 3 or 4 that need to be complete.
Well, the Kinsey one with Ward rolling out of the pocket is the one everybody's pointing to.
Because he's out there by himself.
There was a big argument on Titans Twitter yesterday that I was scrolling through and just trying to get more context on it. And everybody's trying to blame one person in particular for it. Like, oh, Kinsey should have continued his route to the sideline. Yeah. And, oh, Ward threw it where he wasn't meant to go.
It's the problem when you say somebody reads this and the other one reads that. And
right.
And he's expecting him to,
I think it was probably both.
Sure.
I don't think it was a great throw from Cam Ward. Even if Kinsey was supposed to run that closer to the boundary, I still don't think it was a great throw from Ward. But I also don't think that route that Kinsey ran was what Ward was expecting him to do.
I mean, it's pretty clear he expected him to go back to the outside, but I'm not smart enough to tell you which way or the other. I just know this. He's so wide open, he could have punted him the ball.
Yes. And those are the plays you can't miss because the Titans don't get wide receivers open very often. We're going to talk a lot about the wide receivers today because that room is now thin as it can be.
The injury report's going to be interesting today. You got DK with the chest contusion because he did clear. The important thing is he cleared concussion protocol.
Yes, that is important.
So it's a matter of how much pain, because they said chest contusion, which is a bruise. Now, I'm old enough.
There are different severities of that.
To say, oh, it's just a bruise. No, there are some bruises that you can't play through and some that you can.
Yeah.
My guess would be he will pad it up and play, but we will see. The bigger concern to me is Io Manor. When he tweaked his hamstring late. Yeah. So that remains to be seen. And of course, Ridley's on IR. And those are your top 3 receivers. And oh, by the way, Lockett plays for the Raiders. So that's your top 4.
Bryce Oliver's on IR.
Yeah.
So you're left with Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey. James Prochet was just called up from the practice squad.
They just signed 2 guys to the practice squad.
And they've still got
Xavier.
They've still got X down there.
And the thing is like with DK and the chest contusion, this may be a game where they say, all right, we're going to bring up Restrepo, although Prochet can return punts and kicks as well.
Yes.
But if you wanted a reason to bring up Restrepo, you could say we're going to have him return punts and kicks.
Right.
So,
And
we'll see what they do.
Fossil did say yesterday that Prochet is likely going to be the returner if DK was to miss Sunday's game. 615.
Yeah, I've been on sick kid patrol, so I didn't hear anything.
Well, those ones kind of fall through the cracks because those aren't streamed. It's just you got to find them on Twitter.
I'm usually there on Monday.
No, it was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't. So it wasn't.
It was Fossil.
Oh, okay, Fossil. I was saying it wasn't McCoy then. Okay.
No, Fossil yesterday said that if DK misses, Prochet would like.
I wonder if that's his choice.
Right. I would guess so.
I would think so. I mean, you would think he's got the swag and the respect to do that.
Yeah, that McCoy's not going to micromanage and say.
I would just say, who do you want?
Right.
Who's our best choice?
So, and Prochet's the most experienced guy. That's what you want back there.
Sure.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Lenny says the Texans had a backup quarterback in. I don't think we ever said that they didn't.
No, and that's why, like, you need that. We said going in, you got a chance to win this game.
Right. But the Titans are also capable of losing to anybody.
Absolutely.
And
Davis Mills is a decent backup quarterback. And their offense wasn't what won the game. I mean, they've got the number one defense in the league. And that's a whole nother point. You scored 13 last time you scored 0 against them. So
progress. I was alerted by Joe Rexrode to a text from last show saying, please explain your logic about Cam Ward and the value of the number one pick overall to your 9:00 show host and Ward Homer. If you are not sure about a guy, you take the deal, especially when you have a weakness at near every position on the field. Well, they were convicted on Cam Ward.
They were
very sure about Cam Ward.
There was nothing unsure about it.
Like I've never said that you take the quarterback just for the sake of taking the quarterback. If you really like the quarterback and think he's the franchise guy, you take him, and the picks aren't worth it at all.
No, if you get your quarterback, everything else tends to fall into place. And even the Bengals got to the Super Bowl.
They could totally be wrong about the quarterback. Sure. I've never said that Cam Ward is a surefire franchise guy.
Plenty of teams have been in the past.
But if you feel convicted on a quarterback and you have the number one pick, you take the quarterback.
Absolutely. And you have to hope your scouting is accurate and you're good to go on that. I mean, that's all there is to it. And by the way, yes, you could have had picks, and I'm sure they would have drafted Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's done just about nothing this year for the New York Giants.
Half a sack.
Yeah. And I loved Abdul Carter coming out.
Yeah, me too.
So I would have had no problem with that pick. But I'm just saying, with the Giants, and he's surrounded by good players, I know they stink, but I mean, he's got Dexter Lawrence. He's got Brian Banks. It's not like he's getting double teamed every play.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's still not winning. That to me is problematic for the Giants. That he is not winning.
They have lots of highly drafted pass rushers on that team. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau,
and Brian Banks.
And Brian Banks also played for the Giants for a little bit there, I think.
With Carl Banks?
Cornerback.
Carl Banks, the middle linebacker.
615-737-1025. Just wanted to put it out there. I am a Cam Ward believer. I think that he is going to figure it out at some point. Does that mean he's Patrick Mahomes? I don't think so. But I think he is going to be a good quarterback for this team. Not a Cam Ward homer. I'm willing to admit that he's been bad so far in his rookie season. Well, there's been flashes, though.
I think you just have to say there's been good and there's been bad, and the whole product is bad, and all of it needs to get better, and that all of it includes Cam Ward.
Yep.
But like you said, I've seen enough to know for me to say, well, let's keep looking.
Yes.
Let's keep seeing where this road takes us.
Right.
And that's I guess that's where I am on it, because I mean, you're not a quarterback away from competing for the Super Bowl this year or next year.
Right.
Anyway, now if he makes a big leap next year and you get a couple of picks right and you get a free agent or two right, suddenly you can win some more games. I mean, the line is that thin in this league.
Yep. And finding a coach is part of that. They've got to get the right guy to develop Cam Ward. Also, they need to give him more help around him at wide receiver.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that next. The wide receiver room with Calvin Ridley breaking his leg is now very thin.
One play.
Very young and very, if Jim and Alec don't play, there's not a whole lot of talent there. We'll talk about the wide receiver room and what the Titans could do this year and moving forward. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday morning. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Preds fans, Smashville Live returns tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue at 6 p.m. See your Predators star players up close and personal and also get autographs and pictures. Tonight's Preds player guest is Ryan O'Reilly. That's tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue and only on 102.5 The Game. We'll talk some Preds later on in the show. They are back from Sweden. But starting off the show with the Titans, the wide receiver room is abysmal right now. Calvin Ridley done for the year, possibly done in a Titans uniform. I would argue probably done.
I think most people would expect that.
I don't think he will play again for the Titans. Jim DK, we mentioned it, chest contusion.
Will be back.
He will be back. We will see him again, I would almost expect, but maybe not on Sunday.
Yeah.
And Alec Iamaner with a hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
We'll dive more in on him a little bit later. But what do the Titans do here? You've got 3 wide receivers now on the practice squad. On your active roster, if DK and Iamaner don't play, you've got Jefferson, Kinsey, Prochet.
Yeah, 3.
Those are your 3.
Oh, okay, because the other 2 are hurt. Yeah.
Right. If Alec and DK don't play, you would hope that they do. And if they play, I think that 5 is probably fine. But if either of them don't play, feels like the week that Xavier Restrepo comes up.
Yeah, because they signed 2 guys to the practice squad. I don't have their names in front of me. I know one of them was with
Lance
the team.
McCutcheon had been around the team.
That's what I said. One of them had been here before, so he won't have as much.
I think he just was released from the practice squad last week.
Yeah, I agree
and he's
with that.
back.
I agree.
And then the other guy, I don't know if I had ever heard of before, Christian Wilkerson.
I don't know. I remember Christian Wilkinson, the first round pick out of Clemson, but he's a defensive lineman, which might be okay for this team. I don't know.
Oh, it's a return for Wilkerson as well. Reading through the article on Titans.
All right, so they got 2 guys who know the team.
Yes,
that seems smart.
He was signed by the Titans as an undrafted free agent in 2020.
Wow, he's been around.
Yeah. So
and we've still never heard of him.
So that's your group. That is the 8 wide receivers that you currently have on your team and healthy-ish. And 2 of them might not play. So here's
the first thing I would do. Play 2 tight ends. Go 2 tight ends a lot.
Yeah, I agree. We were just talking during the break of Chig kind of became the 3rd tight end down the stretch.
3rd wide receiver.
The 3rd wide receiver down the stretch because you had no other choice. It was Mason Kinsey and Van Jefferson, and Alec kind of kept coming in and out, grabbing his hamstring, and then heading back to the sideline.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't bode well.
And it usually tightens up after the game, so I would assume that
he's probably not going to play.
I would guess. I feel better about Chim playing than I do about Alec playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if DK plays, I still think that Restrepo might be the guy coming out. I mean, if the Titans call up Lance McCutcheon or Christian Wilkerson over Xavier Restrepo this week, then just send Xavier Restrepo somewhere else because clearly he is not an NFL quality receiver.
Well, he's been on the practice squad for a reason.
If you're going to call up a guy you sign off the street that week over a guy who's been with you since May.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
What's the point of him being there?
Well, because you're developing him. You know, you think you see something there that you want to develop, and he may not be ready at that time. I don't know. I'm just telling you, it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of to bring
stash him and redshirt him.
To bring experienced guys off the street and then they play over guys who it's not always, but it's not unprecedented.
When you're 1-9.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, and you're right. Look, it would appear now is the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I've continued to say the Titans are telling you what they think of Xavier Restrepo by what they're doing. They put Mason Kinsey on the 53 over him. Like we know what Mason Kinsey is.
Yeah, but he's been in the league for 6 years.
But we know what he is. He's not going to help you. And we saw it on Sunday that and I know that the throw, we talked about it, the crossing route on that last drive it was high from Cam Ward, but a capable NFL receiver probably makes that catch.
I don't know that I agree with you on that. I think it's tougher than you think. And I just think the throw needs to be better.
I agree. The throw was high and it was out in front.
Look, if it's Nico Collins, who's 6'4", he's going to catch it. He's going to catch it. He's bigger. He's longer.
I guess
that's why you draft guys with
size for sure. But like Mason Kinsey also is just, there's a reason that he has been a practice squad player his whole career.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, he's open. He's open. There's no question about that. He's also one of the fastest guys on the team.
I will give him credit. The sliding catch that he made,
He was open.
It was not a great throw from Cam.
No, he
adjusted to the ball.
He made a layup throw. He was like, okay, we're going to catch this and we're going to get the first down.
Yeah.
And I was fine with. I thought it was a good decision. Make sure it's complete, and that's what they did. And Mason made sure it was complete.
Yeah,
but trapped his body around the ball. I had no problem with that throw whatsoever.
I see what you're saying. It was third down, right, on that play?
I don't remember. I just remember, look, could they have a bigger receiver out there? Yeah, they could, but he's not. He's 5'10", and you're the first pick of the draft. Put it on him.
No,
put it on him
for sure. The throw could have been much better, but you wish that you had better options behind your receivers than Mason Kinsey.
Absolutely, I don't disagree with that.
And if Xavier Restrepo can't beat out Mason Kinsey and can't beat out Lance McCutcheon and Christian Wilkerson, then I don't think he's ever going to play for this team.
Yeah, you have to. It would appear to be time to give it a look.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're playing a game where you're probably going to be behind, and he's probably going to throw 40 passes.
13-point underdogs.
Yeah, probably going to throw 40 passes. So you're going to need receivers. You just are.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go to our phones. Our good friend Trey has called in. Trey, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Top half of the bottom third. Let's go.
Hey, Cory.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, buddy. Hey, I was flipping through the TV the other day. I did not know you were on TV.
Thanks, brother. Only for about 20 years. Thanks for watching.
I love you. I love you.
You know what? I'm one step ahead of the Titans. You watched me, and you never watched them.
I watch you all the time. I love it all the time. Hey, I just wanted to say, hey, how many passing touchdowns does Cam Ward have this year? 2 or 3?
6.
Okay, he has 6.
That's still not enough.
He's played 600 hours of football. We've had to watch 600 hours of football.
One touchdown every 100.
600 minutes, Trey.
That's crazy.
600 hours.
600 minutes.
Hey, that's like me playing Pee Wee 7th grade Pee Wee football, and I got more touchdowns than he do, and I was on the bench.
Well, I think in Pee Wee football, Cam had more touchdowns.
Hey, I hear y'all, but I hope he does well though.
Yeah. Well, we've done. I've said we've done nothing but say he needs to play better. I mean,
I know he needs to play better, but you think that he's right in the head to be able to play better?
Oh yeah, look, I think he's got the will, and he puts in the work. There are certainly habits he needs to overcome, and I think there's also an ego check with some of the stuff that he needs to accept. And that's not to say he can't make these plays, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be the whole team.
Yeah.
He has to facilitate.
He doesn't have to be the whole team.
And I think accepting that is part of it.
Exactly. Hey, and I would call up Restrepo only because they have a bond with each other. And, everybody talks about Restrepo being slow.
Yeah.
But if he has good hands, though, it would be really good, for him to connect with Cam and see if they can dig out of this hole.
Y'all, and y'all
have a good day. Cory, you do a good job.
Thanks, Trey, brother. Appreciate you calling.
Thanks, Trey.
Buddy. See y'all later.
We talk about the slowness, and there's no taking away from it, but Anquan Boldin was not fast.
No.
And Anquan Boldin was an unbelievable player. Unbelievable player.
And you've got to take Xavier Restrepo for his word on it, but he did tweet out that he hit like 21 miles per hour on the field or something.
Yeah, I did see that.
So we don't have the proof of that, but there is a difference between straight line running and football fast. And I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and be a burner, but I do think there is a difference between what you run in a 40 and what you actually can do in terms of speed and quickness on the field.
Jerry Rice, I don't know what he ran in the 40, but I do know this. Nobody ever caught him with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And, there's something to that. Some guys are just football players.
Yeah.
And that goes to the Anquan Boldin discussion.
Right.
He was just football. Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel looks like a running back. He's not at his best anymore, but Deebo Samuel for a while was hell of a football player.
He was.
And so it's not everything. It's a very big thing, but it's not everything. The thing I keep wondering is, what if he goes out there and catches like 8 balls for 84
I
yards
know.
and a touchdown? Fans are going to go just crazy. They're going to be like, you didn't bring this guy up. What are you doing? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We could be 5-5 right now with
Right.
Restrepo, which isn't true.
It's going to be
But-
I told you
Yeah.
Restrepo was better than what we had.
Yeah.
It's we'll see. I hope he gets a chance. And again, a chance doesn't mean starting at slot receiver. A chance means 10 to 15 snaps, maybe a couple targets, and we'll see what he can do.
Like you said, they're 1-9.
Right.
See what you got.
What do you have to lose?
Just see what you got. I mean, look, the other guys that they just signed, Wilkerson and McCutcheon, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. They're not a part of your future either. Okay.
Yeah.
So take a look at them, see what you got.
Exactly. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll get to your phones. We see
Stroud
you waiting.
Thursday night.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
All right. So 3 straight missed games for CJ
bad.
Stroud. Bills on Thursday. 615-737-1025. Again, we will get to your phones. We see you waiting. We'll do that next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 1025 the game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jay Kleiman, Cory, Curtis, Parker, Kelly with you. Wednesday edition of the show, talking Titans, who are 1-9 and heading into a game against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. Let's go back to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dustin from Hopkinsville has been waiting patiently. Dustin, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Good morning, guys. First of all, I just wanted to tell you, you said that you were a step ahead of the Titans. I just want to congratulate you on that accolade, sir.
I was a step ahead of the Titans because he watches me.
Oh, right.
And
yes.
he doesn't watch the Titans.
Yes,
yeah.
he had only heard you on the radio.
I didn't know Trey owned a television.
Yes,
so,
I didn't think he did.
But you can stream the news now too. So maybe he's streaming
right
the
on the
too.
computer. Yeah.
Hey guys, I wanted to touch on a few things. I only got a minute. So the DK injury really bothered me. I was there and I watched it from the whole other side of the field, and I seen the kick hung in the air. It may have been one of the best punts of the day, and he had to run to the right side of the field, which is fine, but it was the time it took him, and he was looking up from what I could see the whole time, and his body was slanted when he caught it. He should have done anything but run that ball. His injury, we've got to get better coaching to tell them, live to fight another day. You know, it really hurt the team, him getting injured. I'm not putting all the blame on him, but I really don't think he should have ran that ball back.
Don't you think that's a one-off, though, Dustin, for what he's done this year?
It is, but, man, he's not there now. I mean, he's in concussion protocol.
No, he's not.
He's out of concussion protocol.
He was not. He passed concussion protocol. He has a chest contusion.
A chest contusion.
Yes.
Well, how long is he out now?
We don't know. It's just I mean, contusions are funky.
Yeah,
some are worse than others.
We'll get an idea today when they hit the practice field.
Yeah.
But also, on the strip thing, I went back and watched tape on this dude. And people keep saying, if the Titans are not putting him up, they say what they think. I'll tell you what I think about the Titans. I think they were talking about it this morning. There's a lot of incompetency from the head down, and that's where it all starts. And that's what the problem here is in Tennessee. It's from the head down. And I don't have any faith in the people telling me strip size. I watch tape on this guy. I see his size. I see how thick he is, and he's darting, and he's got brass, down below the belt, buddy.
Yeah,
that dude can do nothing but catch, and when he gets the ball after the hit, he's amazing on tape. And I know it's college and the game's faster, but you got to get this guy up there and see what he's got.
Look, his college tape is great. I'm not going to disagree with you. I am intrigued to see what he can do as well. But and believe me, the Titans have problems at the top when you look at the way their draft and free agency is gone. There's no question about that. The one thing I will say in their defense in this situation is, Dustin, he's on the practice squad, which means at any point 31 other teams can sign him to their active roster and play him. And through 10 weeks or 11 weeks, because they have the bye, no one has elected to do that. So the other 31 teams in the league have agreed with the Titans to this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just need to put it to bed.
I agree. He needs to play.
If nothing else, Cam's going to feed him. He's going to try.
They're 1-9.
Cam sees, man, it ain't going to work out. I've got to feed myself.
They're 32nd in offense. They're not going to be 33rd. There is no 33rd.
That can't get any worse.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on the tight
they'd be
ends, dude. The tight ends are driving me nuts.
No.
Gunnar Helm, I was sitting there, and I yelled at Cam from 25 yards behind him. I said, dude, throw to the dang tight ends.
Yeah.
He threw the tight end. And it's in the fourth quarter every time they finally decide to utilize
it is. You're right. They wait 3 quarters.
80% on his catches. I mean, it's crazy. And Ching, I mean, he's coming around this year, too. Why are we waiting to the fourth quarter? That's why people are saying this is a non-disclosure signed tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's saying it because they can't, but that's why people are saying it. I mean, it's play call. Look what they did. They just throw the Spears on 3rd and 13. It worked out, but 9 times out of 10, like, that doesn't work out.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Dustin. I agree with you on the Restrepo stuff of, yes, there was a reason why pre-combine there was talk of him getting into the top 100 in the draft of like, hey, he could be a day 2 pick.
That ended.
But guess what? All 32 teams had a chance to draft him. They didn't. After the Titans cut him after training camp, all 32 teams, the other 31 teams had a chance to claim him. They didn't.
Yep.
And every single week from there on out, they've had a chance to steal him off the practice squad, and they didn't. So it's not like it's just the Titans, like you said, that don't
and
view him
that
as
doesn't
an NFL
mean
receiver.
he can't play. I always say James Harrison, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame, if he's not already, I don't know. But
he might be.
Yeah, look, he started on the practice squad in Pittsburgh.
Right.
It happens.
There have been plenty of players who have not been the blue chip guys who worked their way through.
Just got into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, you can look through and find plenty of guys who did not come in as highly touted players and maybe didn't break through until their first or second year, or until after their first or second year. But we'll see. Xavier Restrepo might get a chance on Sunday, and he's got to take advantage of it.
And by the way, Chig has been a 50-catch guy for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
This will now be the 3rd season.
Right.
My point has been he can be more than that if you make him more of a focal point of your offense. He has shown you what he can and cannot do. It is time to accentuate the can-do portion of Chig Okonkwo.
Agreed. The tight ends have been probably the most reliable group for the Titans on offense so far this year.
Yeah.
And they don't use them nearly enough. Let's go back to our phone lines. Teddy is on the line wanting to chime in. Teddy, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
We're just living, trying to get through this one. Not today, through the season.
We all are, right? Okay, so just a few things I wanted to touch on, man. First one is our head coach, our interim head coach, Mike McCoy. I don't understand what this guy is doing with his whole deal of this not going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
Guy, you are not going to be the head coach. So at this point, what do you have to lose? Nothing. You are just here to pretty much be a caretaker to take care of the team throughout the rest of the season. So go for it on 4th down. Take chances, see what happens. You never know. You might just find something in the process of doing that. That's one thing. And the second thing also to the whole receiving core thing with Restrepo and all of that. I understand what you guys are talking about 1,000% with how the team sees and they know that, okay, this guy's not ready yet. Maybe let's give him some time. Let's, maybe redshirt him, something like that. But also to other receivers we brought them off their potential and what they can become. But let's not forget, Restrepo outproduced all of them in college. But college is not NFL, and I understand that 1,000%. College is not NFL. But if you look at his production in college, probably our 2 receivers that we brought in, if you put their production together, it's probably not, it's probably matching up to Restrepo's whole college career. So what I'm trying to say is just give him a chance and let's see. Oh, and one thing I'm forgetting, he happens to have the season with the quarterback that we drafted.
Yeah.
His last year in college, it happens to be with the quarterback that we drafted. So, let's see. Maybe he might make Cam comfortable. We're not saying throw the ball to X and let X go 70 yards, but help him. He's going to move the chains.
Yeah, somebody's going to catch him.
Walker, like an Edelman,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like that. That's what I called him to say, man. And you guys have a wonderful one, man.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Teddy. We were just talking about the Mike McCoy lack of aggressiveness, and
we actually agree.
Yes, we both agree that the 4th down decision isn't what bothered us. It's the decision to run on 3rd down.
Yes, the lack of aggressiveness, the lack of putting the 1st down in Cam Ward's hands when your offensive line has proven it can't go get it for you.
Yes.
And by the way, this is what you drafted Cam Ward to do, to go get you that 1st down. And so if you want to take the points because you've had a lot of drives get over the 50 and you don't score, I get it. You're playing a backup quarterback. You think field goals might win it for you today. I get that. And why does Mike McCoy coach that way? Because he is an old school coach. All right. And that is the way he is going to coach it. He is trying to win the game.
Yeah.
And if you want him to coach a different way, he is not going to do it because all he knows is I am trying to win the game. The win-loss still goes on his coaching record.
Right.
All right. He is trying to win. You don't have to like it, but he is trying to get a W.
Yeah. And interim coaches, typically you see them kind of loosen up a little bit and play aggressively because it's like, yeah, you don't have much to lose at this point, but it seems like he's gone the opposite direction.
If you had Nick Holtz or Bo Hardigree, who are young coaches, they probably would.
Right.
And they've also never been a head coach before. They got nothing to lose. Let's just go.
Well, I don't know what the communication is between Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree, but there needs to be more in those situations of, hey, Bo, what are you calling here? And it's like, hey, we're going to run the football.
Well, he's got to know. I mean, they've all got to know.
There has to be a communication of,
we're kicking if we don't get it.
Yes. Is this 4-down territory?
Yes.
Do I have 2 plays
because
here,
running
Mike?
the ball there says it's 4-down territory.
Right.
Throwing the ball says we're kicking it.
Yes.
But then you run it and you kick it. Look, they didn't lose yards.
Right.
And, if you lost 2 yards,
it changes everything.
Yes.
But yeah, like
it's still 4th and 2. That's why I said, when they bring Cam out of the pocket, generally only good things have happened this year.
Yep.
I don't know.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it doesn't seem like it's going to change very much. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll get to more of your phones. We'll also have a conversation about Alec Iamaner on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Tonight on Totally Hits 93.3, catch MTSU men's basketball as the Blue Raiders take on Michigan at 5:30. Coverage is also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Let's go back to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Keegan is on the line. Keegan, thanks for calling. What you got for us today?
Man, I don't have a whole lot for y'all today. I was just curious. So obviously with the Seahawks coming in, we are essentially 2-touchdown underdogs.
Yes.
And I believe on Monday I called in Reaction Monday just talking about how a lot of times people have very high expectations and they set themselves up to be let down once the Titans play. So I'm just curious, with the Seahawks coming in, what kind of expectations should the Titans fans have for a successful ball game? What does success look like for the Titans? Is it maybe forcing an interception or two on Sam Darnold, who's been throwing some lately?
Four in the last game.
Holding Jackson Smith and Jigba less than 150?
Yeah.
Is it the defense holding them under a certain amount? What could it be? What does success look like this Sunday? So just kind of all I want to ask, and I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Keegan. I mean, I don't think it's going to be all that close on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good question.
It is a good question because you do need to set expectations when you sit down and watch the Titans play.
Yeah.
They're probably going to lose. They're probably going to lose by double digits. But what can you look for to see that there's progress in the right direction?
I think the first place you have to look at is right tackle.
Yeah.
And you have to look and see, because doesn't Leonard Williams line up over there a lot?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Leonard Williams is a really bad man.
Yep.
And how do they handle Leonard Williams? Are they able to give Cam time to be able to run the ball at all? Or does Leonard Williams and that Seahawk defensive front just destroy everything
right
in front of it? So, how does the offensive line stand up against that group? I think that's certainly one place. If the offense could put 20 points on the board, that's a good day.
Yeah, that's a win.
That's a good day. You're averaging like 14.
How much did the Rams put up on Sunday? It wasn't much more than 20.
No, it was like 21, right?
Yeah.
21-19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that was with four interceptions.
Right.
And that's with Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams and
I think you hit 20, you feel great about that.
Yeah. So if you can score 20, that's great. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a problem.
Yeah, JSN versus JAD on the outside is probably not going to go very well.
I mean, it's I guess you hope if you can keep him out of the end zone, that would be all right. If you limit explosive plays, if you allow the catches underneath, but you limit explosives, I think that would be good. I guess if you could limit the Seahawks to 28 points, I would take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to sound negative like that. If you lost like 28-20, I'd put my hat on and go, all right, that's a good day at the ball yard. Let's go home. Because look, they're coming off a loss, and this is one of the better teams in the league. They could come in and hang a 42-3 on you. I know that's just the way it is. And so if you can lose by less than 13 and if you can just get the game to the fourth quarter where you're within 10 points, I think that's kind of a victory in itself.
Yeah, and of course, when you're watching these games, the main thing you're looking at is Cam Ward. And
absolutely.
Is Cam Ward going to go out and beat the Seahawks single-handedly? Almost certainly not. But you look for, can he take care of the football? Mm-hmm. He had another fumble on Sunday. Take care of the football, move the chains, and maybe use his legs a little bit more. And again, he doesn't have a multi-touchdown game yet in his career. I'd love to see that at some point. Maybe that doesn't come this week, but start to see the statistics at least start to look a little bit better. The stats aren't everything, but it's like you do need to see him produce.
His completion percentage is getting close to 60%. And from where he started when he was down around 50,
right?
That's
he was at, I think 52 or something through the first
51.4 or something like that. So being close to 60 is progress. He's on pace to throw for over 3,300 yards. Now how many of those yards are empty? Blah 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 blah. But still, 3,000 yard passers with the Titans is no.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't. And also, who's he throwing to right now?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
And by the way, the thing we have not mentioned, they've got to be able to run the football a little better.
Yeah. I mean, Pollard and Spears both weren't very good on Sunday. The offensive line wasn't very good on Sunday.
And that's why we go back to the offensive line. The offensive line has got to step up in this football game. And look, they're probably not going to be good enough to give you a chance to win, but they've got to be good enough to give the offense a chance to move the ball down the field. And if your offensive line can play better than it did last week, all right, and you can manage to put some points on the board and get the game to the fourth quarter,
yeah,
I think that's okay.
And you do get to see Cam Ward, Sam Darnold facing off. Probably the two most popular choices for the Titans quarterback among the fan base this year. So, there's going to be victory laps being taken somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh, I know where the victory lap going to be taken. And it's not entirely wrong because you could have traded that pick and signed Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And you had room under the salary cap to do it. Now, having said that, what kind of season would Sam Darnold be having right now?
Yes.
Probably not great.
I don't know if the Titans roster, the Titans coaching would have had this team, they're 7-3 at this point?
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold probably would have been in a better place to do what Brian Callahan wanted. I would say
Agreed.
that.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a better choice to execute what this head coach wanted to do. I understand why you want the young quarterback, because you want to see what he can do.
And a higher ceiling.
Higher ceiling. And, Sam was the 3rd overall pick and was thought to be a 1st overall pick for a long time.
But has Sam Darnold reached his ceiling? I would argue.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know, but if this is his ceiling is pretty good. He was pretty good last year, and the numbers are really good this year.
Yeah,
outside of last week,
except for the 4 picks. Yeah,
yeah, but look, they had 4 picks and they still almost won the football game.
They did. They had a field goal at the end to win it.
And so, which goes to how much he has grown as a player. That he didn't let 4 picks stop him from putting them in a position to win the game. He's a great story. He's a great lesson for a lot of us, and who want to just bury guys right out of the gate. Now we have to also understand he's not the norm.
No,
he's not the norm.
But we're seeing lots of them right now of guys who
the Jets draft.
Yes. Guys who have struggled out of the gates and figured it out. You even look at, I've mentioned Jared Goff a couple times this week, have had a horrible rookie season.
Well, yes.
Figured it out once he got the right coach.
Yeah, he got the right coach, and Sean McVay is fantastic.
Yes, he is.
But even Sean McVay jettisoned him after going to the Super Bowl with him.
Yeah.
Sean McVay said, I need better. And he got Matt Stafford, and Goff grew from there.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting stories out of Detroit where they had to tell him, you are our guy. All right, go do it. You're our guy.
Right.
Because he didn't necessarily believe
he kind of felt like he was just a throw-in in that deal.
And so, for a lot of these guys, it's experience, but success is, there's nothing that beats success and the confidence that goes with it.
Yeah.
And when guys start to believe in what they're doing, and, there's a lot of teams, a lot of players that need that. The Titans are right there at the top of the list.
Yes, they are. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take your texts and calls. Appreciate everybody who's called in the first hour. We'll talk more Titans later on in the show. But coming up next, big week in college football. The new college football playoff rankings are out. We'll talk about where Vandy stands. They were leapfrogged by somebody last night, and what their path looks like after Oklahoma's upset win over Alabama this weekend. Also, the coaching carousel is spinning. I want to get Cory's thoughts on James Franklin to Virginia Tech and the Lane Kiffin saga that continues to play out down in Oxford. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly alongside you on your Wednesday morning. Hope it's been a great start to your day. Talk Titans in the first hour. We're going to talk college football here in the 10 o'clock hour. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. You just heard it in the open.
10 wins.
10 wins as an SEC school. You're in. Not sure that's going to be the case based on the playoff rankings from last night. So a little bit of a shuffle as Alabama losing to Oklahoma, so they fall. Georgia moves into their spot at number 4. You've got Texas Tech 5, Ole Miss 6, Oregon 7. Oklahoma with their win leapfrogs Notre Dame to 8. The Irish are still at 9, Alabama 10, and then 11 is BYU. I don't have them up in front of me right now.
Yes, BYU's at 11.
Yes, BYU is 11, Utah is 12, Miami is 13, Vanderbilt 14. Miami skips over Vanderbilt for their, really quality win over NC State on Saturday.
So Vandy got punished for not playing.
Basically.
Where we saw other teams move up 3 spots when they didn't play.
Yes. It is. We had the whole discussion about Notre Dame and Vanderbilt last week.
Yep.
And we put that to bed because there's just no point in having the conversation.
No,
the committee clearly believes Notre Dame at 2 losses is better than Vanderbilt at 2 losses. And, I could argue that the resume would favor Vanderbilt. The strength of record favors Vanderbilt, but clearly the committee with their eye test is going to put Notre Dame in over Vandy. Somebody's got to explain to me how Miami's in over Vanderbilt.
Yeah. I mean, who are Miami's losses to?
Louisville and SMU.
And SMU, yeah. I mean, SMU was a playoff team last year.
But they're unranked.
Yeah.
And Louisville is unranked as well.
Yep.
But that game was at Miami, too.
Yeah. No, it's troubling. It's troubling. But I don't – who are Miami's remaining games?
Miami plays Virginia Tech and Pitt.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So those are 2 games they should win. But we talked about it before the show. If you're Vanderbilt and you go to Knoxville, and ideally Tennessee is 8-3 when you go to that game.
Yes.
And you go to Knoxville and win, you've got the possibility to show the committee, hey, we're better than them.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm not saying it'll work, but I think you can make your case in that game. You better take us because we're serious.
It's at the point now where if you don't get a ton of help, you've got to have an emphatic win over Tennessee. You got to go into Neyland and beat them by 20, which unlikely. Tennessee is still a very talented team with one of the better offenses in the country, and that is one of the toughest places to play in the country.
We did not say, though, Miami has beaten Notre Dame.
That game in August is really carrying a whole lot of weight.
That's my next question was, who else have they beaten? Do they have any other quality wins?
Let me look at their schedule.
Because Vanderbilt doesn't
USF.
have...
That's
come on.
USF, Florida State, who they beat only by 6.
I mean, these are teams with losing records, right?
Stanford, Syracuse, NC State are their other.
So they got one quality win,
right?
And I'm sure the committee could tell you, well, Vanderbilt doesn't have any wins over teams that are ranked.
Missouri's ranked.
Oh, they're back in the rankings.
They're back
again.
in the rankings. Yeah.
And that's what we said. Missouri, LSU, you need those teams, Tennessee, to all do nothing but win until you play Tennessee in the last game.
Well, and that's the next couple of weeks in Norman are enormous for Vanderbilt, not only because you need somebody to beat Oklahoma, but if Missouri or LSU wins that game, that improves your resume a little bit as well.
You would be, I'm surprised because, I mean, most people have Diego now is top 4 in the Heisman. I mean, most of the things I've seen. That would not carry some weight with the committee that you'd want to get this guy in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Diego the week of a playoff game?
I don't know what it is that Vanderbilt is, and they're not really answering questions about it either. I did not see an explanation for what caused them to put Miami over Vandy.
Well, look, I will just tell you that they'll say the Notre Dame win. All right.
Which, like, I get it. That's what you scheduled that game.
Yeah.
And that is a quality win for Miami.
It is. But that's what I'm going to tell you. It doesn't have to make sense, but this is going to be their argument.
But does one win just cancel out losses to unranked opponents?
I agree with you. But you're asking me, what are they going to say?
And
they're going to say, well, they have a win over a top 10 team and Vanderbilt doesn't. although you could say South Carolina was ranked 11th when they played them, LSU was ranked 10th when they played them, Missouri was ranked 15th when they played them. They can't help what those teams have done since then. And by the way, when we beat them, we sent them cascading down the polls.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
We beat one team, so they fired their coach. All right.
I mean, Vandy has 3 top 15 wins when they played them.
Yes.
Obviously, all those teams have since fallen off.
Yes.
I mean, South Carolina, what they did in College Station this weekend, they looked like the team that everyone thought they would be for 30 minutes. And then they look like who they are for the next 30 minutes.
There were a few disturbing things. The policeman in the tunnel was extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing.
No idea what was going on there.
And then Texas A&M to start the game, extremely disturbing.
Yeah.
How are you not ready to play with a national championship at stake?
Right.
And then South Carolina in the second half, how do you just clam up? I mean, they didn't lose that game at the wire.
No, they lost with like 4 minutes left in the game. Yeah. And honestly, A&M could have beat them by more. They fumbled at the goal line.
It's just unbelievable.
Like they're one of the craziest games you'll ever see.
We've talked about Marcel Reed for the Heisman. That's a game he needed.
Yeah.
That was a game he needed.
That is a Heisman moment for him.
That's when everybody went, wow, he brought them back from 30-3 in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. And now he is part of the conversation.
Yeah. And that South Carolina team, Shane Beamer says this time next year they'll be in the playoff conversation. I'm not so sure about that.
He better say that or he's getting fired.
Right. Please don't fire me was more what he was saying.
Because Virginia Tech just hired James Franklin.
Yes. My escape hatch is now closed. Mike in Lebanon on the text line says the committee doesn't want Vandy because they don't draw a national audience. And that's something that I've heard from a lot of people of Vanderbilt doesn't sell.
Yeah, but they tipped SMU last year.
Right. I think that the committee, they want the best games.
Yeah. And
it is a made-for-TV product. And like you just said, Diego Pavia is kind of a made-for-TV quarterback.
Oh, my goodness.
Like,
I mean, he's in the Heisman poll. I mean,
yes.
And he is a polarizing topic from coast to coast.
Right.
And so, yeah, you just said it. He is a made-for-TV topic. There would be 15 stories nationally about him the week leading up to the playoffs.
And I'm sure Diego would say something that Vanderbilt wouldn't want him to say leading into the playoffs that would go viral. And Vanderbilt is they are a made-for-TV team. The story, the quarterback, like there would be tons of storylines and people would watch. To see Vanderbilt play a college football playoff game, people would watch. People would watch just because it's the college football playoff.
They would. Some people would watch because they would want to see Vanderbilt fail because they feel like it's Vanderbilt. They don't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
There are those who like the underdog and want to see Vanderbilt do well.
Yeah.
And then there's Diego. I mean, I hate to be like the Diego. He sizzles, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
I don't think that Vanderbilt being, I'll say, disrespected in the rankings has anything to do with TV ratings. Yeah. I think it has to do with Nick Saban said it on game day of like, I have a hard time believing that Vanderbilt is actually a good team. And Vanderbilt has to continue to prove those people wrong.
You do.
Knoxville is going to be the opportunity.
It takes a few years to do that.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen other teams rise up over the years, and it takes, I mean, I remember when Boise went to that first Fiesta Bowl to play Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, are you kidding
me?
They're
going to lose by 40.
And they won by like 40. Yep. I mean, but nobody wanted to see them in that game because they didn't believe that they could actually be good.
Right.
And that's why there's some prove it to it. And, Vanderbilt only went 6-6 last year.
Right.
Or 7-6 after the bowl game.
Yes.
So it's not like they came in with this, hey, look out for them. They're on the rise. Yes, last year was better. They beat Alabama. That's what got everybody's attention last year.
Yep.
But they were still a 500 football team. So that's why they weren't ranked to start this year. And they weren't on anybody's radar. And, we talk about them being slighted. Yes. But how many spots are you really talking about?
No,
one or two.
I agree. The two teams that I point at and say, I think Vanderbilt on paper, if you did blind resumes, Vanderbilt would stack up better. I still believe Notre Dame and Miami. I think those two, and Utah as well. I don't know why Utah's ranked above Vanderbilt, but you're still not in the playoffs at that point. Even with those three, Alabama beat you head to head. So if they are a 2-loss team, they're getting in over you.
Yep.
Oklahoma has a much better wins than you do. They're going to get in over you with 2 losses. And BYU as much as I think they're the SMU of this year that's going to go 11-1, losing their conference championship and still get in possibly, like team won 11 games in a power conference. It's tough to leave that team out.
And again, that's going to be one that's important. Like, how do they look in that Big 12 championship game?
Right.
Do they lose by 30? I mean, do they get whacked by Texas Tech like they did in the regular season? Because if they lose big again and Vanderbilt goes and wins at Tennessee, and you're like, wow, they were good, then the committee really has a decision to make.
Yes. And the committee, the chairman, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, was asked yesterday basically that exact question of conference championship games. How do you evaluate them when they had to play an extra game and other teams didn't? And he said, it's a 13th data point. We will view it as like any other data point. So he did not say we aren't going to punish these teams for losing conference championships. I think it's like SMU. If SMU lost that game in the final seconds, you're not going to kick them out of the playoffs because of that.
Against the team that was in the playoffs.
Well, Clemson wouldn't have been if they lost.
Okay. But they still,
But yes, in BYU's case, if they lose on a last-second field goal to Texas Tech, who's 11-1 as well, you're not going to punish BYU for that.
No.
But yes, if they lose 30-3, I don't know if you
could say they played Texas Tech twice and got smoked twice.
Right.
They're not
playoff worthy.
Yes.
So if you're Vanderbilt, you've got a lot of teams you're rooting against, but the most important thing, of course, is you got to take care of business.
Yep.
And you got Kentucky this week, who they've won a couple of games in a row. They blew out Florida the last time we saw them in an SEC game.
They can lose that game. There's no question about it.
All SEC games are losable.
I mean, look, they showed against Auburn. I mean, they barely won that game. I mean, they barely beat Missouri. I mean, we can talk about Vanderbilt glowingly and still understand that they can lose. They could finish. What's the record right now?
8-2.
They can finish 8-4.
For sure.
There's no question about it.
It's not, they are not playing.
And we'll just say, hey, remember when we were talking about them going to the playoffs? That was great.
Well, and that's what, every time we have these conversations, we get texts of, you guys are just looking past the next two games.
No,
they
we're
could
not.
lose. I'm like, no, but having the conversation about the playoffs is irrelevant if they lose either of the next two games.
Yeah. But by the way, they're also capable of winning the next two games.
Yes.
I mean, well, how much are they favored by in this one?
I have not seen, actually.
And going to Knoxville, what do you, because we won't have that, what do you guess is going to be the line in that game going to Knoxville?
Vanderbilt 9.5.
9.5
this
point
weekend.
favorite.
I would guess Tennessee by 4.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say 2.5.
Okay. I think it's in that range.
Yeah, but I think Tennessee's a really slight favorite, probably at home. If it were in Nashville, I might
close to a pick 'em.
Yeah, you might be Vanderbilt by 1.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's, you know what I like? It matters and it's fun.
Right.
And so that's why I really want Vanderbilt to win this weekend, because I want that game to matter.
Right. Me too.
Because if they don't win this weekend, it's just a game.
Yep. Vanderbilt has to take care of business against Kentucky at home. Senior day, Diego Pavia, likely his final game, almost certainly his final game in First Bank Stadium. I know Clark was saying doors open for a home playoff game, but
the house that Diego built.
Your last chance to go out there, Vandy, chance to go undefeated at home for the first time
statue
in 40 years. I mean, it's very, if they go to the playoffs, it's very possible. Very possible.
I don't think he's going to win the Heisman, unfortunately.
I don't think so. There's a chance that he's going to be in New York, but
yeah, I mean, like, so these last two games matter for him.
Yep.
He's got to be, he can't just win. He's got to be electric.
He has to be the reason that they go win and are right in the middle of the playoff conversation.
I mean, I think that 500-yard game against Auburn swayed some people.
I agree.
Because when I saw the changes I'm like, okay, people paid attention.
Yep.
Also Ty Simpson
had a bad game against
He pooped the bed.
Yep.
And most people have dropped him pretty much now. And I'm like, man, that's rough.
Right. It
Dropping
feels like
a one game.
Sayin, Mendoza, and Reed are now kind of the three.
Still, I watched Mendoza against Penn State, and I know he had the game-winning drive, but the rest of the game, I was just pinching my nose.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll continue talking college football playoffs on the other side. Who could end up being at the top of the mountain at the end of the year? Can anybody challenge this Ohio State Buckeyes team? We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory, Curtis, Parker, Kelly with you on this Wednesday.
Tennessee, great. Tina Turner.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly knowledgeable on that.
She played the Super Bowl when the Titans were in it.
Right. Yes,
That's
I did know that.
Yeah. So she did not wear a Titans jersey, though.
No. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go back to our phone lines. Our good friend Kenny the mailman has called in. Kenny, thanks for calling. What you got for us today?
Hello, good friends. I got good news and bad news.
Which one are we starting with?
Let's start with the good news.
All right.
Because being a long-time Vandy fan, and I hate to even say if they're 10-2, because the Kentucky game is going to be down to the wire, 23-17. Either way, it usually is. But let's say they go 10-2. You know what? That means winning in Knoxville, and that would mean more to me than getting to go to the playoffs. Because I'm 63. You laugh, but I'm 63, and I think they've just won 3 or 4 times in my life.
Did Jay Cutler win there? I think he did, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I think Jay won there.
Right at the end, throwing it to Bennett. But I mean, we're talking about a super rare Haley's Comet sort of action. Winning up there would mean more to a Vandy fan than just about anything. Now, here's the bad news.
Okay.
I promise you, it is clear as day. A 9-3 Texas or a 9-3 Notre Dame team is getting in before Vanderbilt.
At
and just
10-2?
listen to the way they speak. There are no set rules about letting these teams in. They will let in who they want in. And
That's true.
Get what elitists want. So, but there will not be a frown on my face that night. If they do wind up 10-2 and go into a nice bowl game in Florida, this will be the moment that I've always been saying, hey, just one season that I can remember forever. So y'all have a great day.
All right, you too. Enjoy the call. Enjoy the last 2.
That is a good point of, guess what, Vandy fans? If you go 10-2 and beat Tennessee, you get to rub that in Tennessee fans' faces for a full year. And you go 10-2 and the committee leaves you out, you can complain about it for a full year, just like Florida State fans have done.
Yeah.
And all these teams that got, they got screwed by the committee, Vanderbilt can run with that the entire time.
And to push back a little on what Kenny said, you had 3 SEC teams that were 9-3 last year that did not get in ahead of SMU.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I find it very hard to believe that a 9-3 team would get in ahead of a 10-2 SEC team, regardless of who that SEC team is.
Especially with how many 10-win teams there are this year, or could be this year.
You would have a really hard time, to me, making that case. That's just me.
Not a 9-3 team. There was a case to be heard last year for a 9-3 team getting in. There's not going to be this year.
But you didn't think it was going to happen. And
no.
It didn't happen, and it shouldn't have happened.
And I think there might be a year down the road where there's enough 9-3 teams.
Where there's enough parity.
Right.
Yeah.
That a 9-3 team does get in. But I think this year, among all years, you got to have 10 wins at a minimum to get in.
I agree. And I understand the trepidation. I do. I mean, I went to Southern Illinois. We went 27-5. And we got left out of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a bad day. That was a really, really, really bad day. And I understand the fear of being at large when you're not a traditional power.
Yeah.
But this isn't the NCAA basketball tournament. The sample size is much smaller. So every loss is, in fact, magnified. Texas was not close at Georgia. They were not.
No, and they're out after that game. Yes. I think you could have made an argument if they lost that game on a last-second field goal that, hey, this is a Texas team. They lost to 2 top 4 teams, both on the road. The Florida loss is bad, but this is a team that should have a chance to get in. There's no argument anymore.
If Alabama loses to Auburn, because they're not going to lose to Eastern Illinois, all right? But if Alabama loses to Auburn, they will have a loss to a 500 Auburn team.
Yep.
And to Florida State, who's not good this year.
Alabama is out.
And they will be out.
Yes.
They will be out.
That's what, Vandy, you need probably 3 results to go your way.
And Notre Dame would be out with a loss in the last 2 as well.
Correct.
I mean, it would be a bad loss to a bad team, and it would be a third loss and they would just be out. Any of those three teams are out with the loss. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah, and you would hope that a Vanderbilt win at Tennessee could get them back above Miami.
Yeah.
Because
what if they all lose? What if they're all 9-3?
What if everybody loses?
Yeah, no, seriously.
It's very possible.
What if they're all
right.
9-3?
Then,
I mean, we've seen games. West Virginia knocked off, was it Houston?
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got games all over. Cal just knocked off Miami.
It does happen more often than you think. The chaos of, especially you get to rivalry weekend, you just never know what's going to happen.
And so we can sit here, pound our chest and say 10-2, you got to be 10-2. Maybe there is a 9-3 that gets in.
Right. I mean, Vandy, I think you look at it right now, you need one more loss from Oklahoma, Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU.
Yeah.
You probably need 3 of those 4 to lose another game. I think Vanderbilt, a win against Tennessee could get you above Miami, get you above Utah.
Yeah.
But you need, I think, 3 of those 4 teams to lose to get in.
Yeah.
Which is it's a tough ask.
It all can change. I mean, so quickly. I mean, I know everybody's depressed about the results last weekend. Texas is out. You got rid of one of them.
Yeah.
You crossed one of them off the list. All right. Now you got to cross another one.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and you got to keep winning. If you don't win, then you're crossed off the list.
Right. And I think 2 out of 3 would have been great for Vandy in terms of Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas losing. But
with Oklahoma being on the road, you really wanted that one to go your way.
Yeah.
I get it, but you got one of the 2.
And
you got halfway there.
And Oklahoma, they play Missouri this weekend. It's in Norman, but Missouri, Ahmad Hardy just ran for 3 bills against Mississippi State. Bo Pribula may be back, so they're not starting a freshman quarterback possibly.
I will not be surprised if Missouri walks away with that win, because that's just where we are at.
And the SEC has chaos all the time. So we'll see. Vanderbilt has to focus on themselves and hope that the chips fall in their favor at the end of the year. But Kentucky this weekend and then Tennessee the weekend after that, you win both those games. Said it before, at the very least, you sit down on the couch and watch the selection show and feel like you've got a chance.
Tough.
Right.
That's
you
right.
make them leave you out. And at that point, it's out of your hands. But you got to go take care of business first. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We're going to give away some Preds tickets coming up in a little bit here. But when we come back, let's get into the coaching carousel. We talked about it with Nick Frazier yesterday. I want to get Cory's thoughts on some of the dominoes that are falling and some of the moves that might be coming around the corner in the next couple of weeks. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. 94.9 is your home for Vanderbilt women's basketball. Tonight, the Commodores take on Western Kentucky at 6:30, and pregame starts at 6:15. I'll be making the drive up to Diddle this afternoon. Week off for Vandy women's basketball, hoping for another win. They're 3-0, can get to 4-0 tonight with lots of games coming up for Vandy women's basketball, by the way. Friday morning, Sunday afternoon, and then we're off to the Virgin Islands for Feast Week.
Are you telling me you're going to France and the Virgin Islands in the same year?
In the same month.
On the company dime?
Yes.
You suck.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
I never liked you.
Next Wednesday,
you need a color analyst?
I think it's a shortened show next Wednesday because Vandy men play at 11.
I still charge my full fee.
But I will be doing the show remotely from the Virgin Islands. So if you're coming in, I'll be talking to you.
You
from
know
there.
what? I'll do it from home. I'll do it from here. I'll do it wherever you guys need me.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Back into college football here. The coaching carousel, one of the most interesting stories across all of sports right now.
Many.
Right. This might be and again, I don't have numbers in front of me, but the most mid-season firings at high-profile jobs that I can ever remember.
Don't you think that's because once the first domino fell, teams didn't want to fall behind? They're like, "Hey, we're changing coaches after this year. We just need to start now."
Well, look at Penn State right now.
Yeah,
like Penn State, and as a Virginia Tech fan, I took my victory lap on James Franklin coming to Blacksburg yesterday. I think that's a home run hire.
I think it's a good hire. Yeah, because he recruits the 757. Really well.
And the DMV, like that is his bread and butter is Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania.
And for those of you who don't know, Virginia Beach is probably top 3 to 5 high school football prospect portals in the entire country. Yes, I covered it for a year. It was insane.
Outside of Texas, South Florida, and maybe Southern California. Like that's it. The 757 is right up there.
I covered it for 1 year. And every game I went to, there were Division I players all over the field.
Yes.
Some games there were double-digit Division I players on the field. I mean, I saw teams get off the bus where they were literally, and this was 15 years ago, where they were 300 pounds across the front on the offensive line. They looked like college teams.
Yep.
And I was just like, are you kidding me? I mean, are you kidding me?
And when Virginia Tech was good, it was because they dominated recruiting in the 757.
Yes, they did. That was the point I was going to make.
All of the good players came out of there and went to Virginia Tech.
Yep. It's 5 hours from there, but Coach Beamer had it rolling.
Yes.
Where he got all those guys. Now Philip Fulmer used to steal guys out of there.
Right.
Justin Hunter.
Yeah.
That type. They would steal some players out of there. And so when Penn State was able to start going and getting players, we're in business.
Yeah. James Franklin. I said it yesterday. I think the reasons for Virginia Tech's downfall, there are plenty of them, but one of them is James Franklin at Penn State because he just crushed Tech in recruiting for years. And now he's in Blacksburg.
Yeah.
And I think Virginia Tech, they're not going to be national championship contenders, but they're going to be relevant again.
They could be a playoff team.
I think that is the goal for Virginia Tech is be a team that's consistently in the hunt to win the ACC and be a playoff team. And that's what Tech fans would be happy with. I'd be happy with that. But with Penn State now, I think they might be looking around. And like you said, with all these high-profile openings of no one wanted to fall behind, Penn State is not the best job on the market anymore. And a lot of their top targets have already signed extensions with other teams. I just don't know where they go at this point.
Yeah, I don't either.
Bob Chesney is the rumor right now, the JMU head coach.
Okay.
Is the rumor that's what Penn State is close to. Drinkwitz is also another name that I've heard.
I mean, he's a good coach.
But it's like, if those are your two top options at Penn State, do you feel better or worse about firing James Franklin?
Yeah, and I always worry about, Brian Kelly leaves, he left Western Michigan or Central Michigan?
Yes.
And he got followed by Butch Jones. He goes to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And he got followed by Butch Jones. And Butch Jones looked good in both places.
Yeah.
Because he had
Brian Kelly's players.
Yeah, everything Brian Kelly set up. So that's my concern about the JMU coach. He may be awesome.
Yeah.
But
he's had Signetti's players for the most part.
He's got 2 years of Signetti's players. Terry Bowden was great until Pat Dye's players were all gone at Auburn. And then his team was terrible.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be my concern if I was Penn State with that.
Talking about coaches taking the last coaches players. Virginia Tech was really good in 2016 when Justin Fuente took over. They went to the ACC championship game with all of Frank Beamer's players. Yeah. So it's like you're right. It's going to take more than 1 or 2 years to know what these coaches are. But Penn State, I think they are in one of the worst spots around the country.
Well, because expectations are really high.
The coach that comes in is expected to not just get you to where James Franklin was,
but surpass it.
Right. You want to win a national championship.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of candidates out there where you're like, well, that's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could talk Nick Saban out of retirement, you could do that.
I guess that would be the ideal choice, but and it doesn't help that now you've got LSU and Florida who have just as much, if not more, resources than you.
And where do they turn when Lane Kiffin decides to stay at Ole Miss for more money?
Yeah.
Because this all smells of him just leveraging for more money at Ole Miss.
And yesterday he went on the Pat McAfee show, and he basically said that the ultimatum that was put out there by the Ole Miss AD, that was the report, was completely false, and he's happy there. Does that mean he's not leaving? No, but I think you're right. I think this all ends up in him leveraging himself into a bigger contract at Ole Miss.
Look, if he ever wants to leave Ole Miss for a bigger job, there'll be somebody there waiting to hire him.
Yeah,
there will be. They'll fire their guy to hire him.
I agree.
So, and he's putting himself in position where he can have a statue at that stadium.
Right.
And that's not the worst thing.
And we got a text yesterday from somebody saying, like, why would Lane Kiffin want to leave? Because he can do what he's doing right now. Go 10-2, 11-1, be in the playoff hunt every year, come up short of a national championship, and you will be a legend in Oxford forever. Yeah. You go to LSU and
you're fired.
Yeah. You do
10-2, you're fired.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the question that he has to ask himself now.
But where do those teams turn? Because both of those guys fired their coaches thinking we're going to go get Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. And you also got Auburn and Arkansas out there as well.
They're in real jail.
I think Auburn and Arkansas are really hoping that Lane Kiffin does leave, maybe, or maybe not, because then Ole Miss's job is open. Auburn and Arkansas are in trouble. And it feels like you're going to have to end up just getting whoever's left among the candidates, whether like if John Summerall goes to Auburn and Alex Golish maybe goes to Florida if they lose out on Lane Kiffin. Maybe Ryan Silverfield goes to Arkansas.
Maybe Josh Heupel goes to LSU. Maybe Auburn comes to Clark Lee with a massive offer. I mean, that's what we're talking about now. There's no candidates.
Yes, which means you have to go create candidates.
Yes, and who's winning? All right. Has Josh Heupel done a nice job at Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yes, he has. And I know fans are like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. Josh Heupel has done a great job at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. So just get over it. If you think you can do better, go do better. All right. Josh Heupel's done a great job at Tennessee. And so by subject of there not being candidates for these big jobs, they may come to them. And now, do I expect either one of them to leave? Not necessarily. I would expect Heupel to leave before Clark. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I would put it at unlikely for both of those guys to leave. But yes, I think if one of them was to take another job, it would be Heupel.
If LSU offers Heupel the job, he's got to go, right?
I would think so.
I know Tennessee fans don't want to hear it's a better job. It's a better job.
Yes. LSU is one of the top jobs in America whenever it opens up.
Now, again, you're going into the 10-2 rat race. Where is 10-2 good enough?
Yes.
And in Tennessee, look, there's some fans at Tennessee 10-2 isn't good enough, but it largely is.
Well, and I think maybe Heupel would realize that he's getting to the point with the recruiting that he's done, the success that he's had, that doing what he's done the last couple of years is not going to be good enough for much longer.
No,
right?
Like expectations are
getting into the playoffs is not going to be the bar anymore. When you bring in a 5-star quarterback like Faison Brandon, who's coming in, the expectation is you're going to be able to develop him and get to a national championship.
Yeah, can you take him with you to LSU?
Right. And it's like with him, with Heupel, maybe he's like, hey, the expectations are about to go up around here. Might as well go get more money and more resources at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, the LSU, I think, had the second highest NIL payroll behind Texas Tech this year.
Yeah.
And that's what got Brian Kelly fired. Because he said, I need more money.
And they're like,
and they gave it to him, and he still lost. And so, that's a whole nother reason to turn that job down.
Yeah.
Because the expectations can be impossible to meet. But, you can drive for 90 minutes in every direction and field a top 10 football team.
Very true.
That is one thing you just cannot deny.
Yeah. And if LSU does, I think Kiffin is the number one guy for both of these teams, but
they're not both going to get him, right. And they very likely both won't get
only
him.
One of them can get him at most. Yeah. So we'll see where they turn after that. Let's go back to our phone lines. Edward has been waiting patiently. Edward, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen, University of Tennessee Knoxville is coming to Murfreesboro tomorrow night, women's basketball. Y'all were talking a little women's basketball. You know, so I want to hit up on a couple things and get your opinion. Last year, we went to Knoxville, they beat us by, I think, 10. The year before, we played them in a neutral site in Huntsville, and we beat them by 12. Rick Enzel is fixing to hit his 500th career win. I don't think our lineup is not what it has been. I'm concerned about MTSU women's basketball. But the comment I want to make, Rick Enzel, if UT wouldn't have played the politics of hiring Holly Warlick, and I believe this with all my heart, I believe if Rick Enzel would have gone to Knoxville, they would have won at least 2 more national championships. He's probably not far from retiring. His son, Matt, is probably going to step in. That's not a given, but that's what everybody here in this community thinks. And just want to get your guys' thought. And Kenny, the mailman, he mentioned earlier he's 63. I'm 63 also. And one of the greatest victories that I ever remember is when Whit Taylor, a little gutsy quarterback at Vanderbilt in '82, beat Tennessee. That was a Johnny Majors team that was pretty decent. Steve Alatorre, I believe, is the quarterback. Anyway, guys, enjoy your show. If you don't mind commenting on Enzel, his game tomorrow night. And thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Edward. Yeah, MTSU, they're younger.
Well, they're rebuilding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of freshmen playing, and they're struggling right now. Struggling as far as MTSU standards go.
Right. But they don't usually lose non-conference games outside of SEC schools.
And you and I both agree. We also have a high reference for Rick Insell as a coach.
For sure.
He is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I am excited to see where that team is at the end of the year, because they could be a team with close to 10 losses when the season's over, but they might also be a team you don't want to play in the Conference USA tournament.
Agreed. Yeah. And that's for those mid-major teams like, yes, a couple of years ago when MTSU beat Tennessee, they were an at-large team, whether they won the Conference USA championship at all. But guess what? They're still probably the best team in Conference USA. I know there are a couple other teams. We play one tonight in Western Kentucky, but MTSU is going to be in that hunt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And if they can get things sorted out, we'll see. But Tennessee struggled as well early on in the season. They're still undefeated, but they've been in closer games against UT Martin and Belmont than I think they're used to.
I don't know what the line is. I do not expect this to be a 10-point game.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, now saying that, the Lady Vol struggled with UT Martin the other night. So, and I just say it because Middle is young.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just young. It's not a great year for them to play this game, but that's all you can do. I remember when that job was open, and I remember thinking Tennessee should hire Rick Insell.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wanted the job. I think he is happy in Murfreesboro. I think it's the only college job he wants.
Right.
But I don't know that they would have 2 national championships if he went there. I do think they would have gone to the Final Four with Rick Insell.
I could see it.
He can just coach.
Yep.
I mean, whether it's Shelbyville or Middle, he has just won a ton of games, and you don't forget how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what he's built at Middle has been impressive, and that's like we said, that's a team that they're struggling right now. They're young, but I don't know if I'd want to see them come March.
They've got some nice young players. They're just young.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take another break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2 after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Wrapping up the second hour of the show. We'll get into the Preds a little bit in the 11 o'clock hour and then back to the Titans at the end of the show. But let's go back to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake is on the line from Shelbyville. Jake, thanks for calling. What you got for us today?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Clark Lee and Josh Heupel situations. You guys might think differently than me. Yeah, Vanderbilt, Clark gets his alma mater. He's doing a great job this year. He's done a fine job. Talking about Heupel at Tennessee, you know, in my opinion, Tennessee is a destination job. It's not somewhere you're going to leave to go very many places for. Yeah, Lane Kiffin, I know that example and so forth, but LSU might be one of the spots you would leave for, I think, but there's only a handful of jobs you leave Tennessee for. That might be one. I don't think LSU's got a job Heupel. That's just my opinion. I think Clark Lee, Penn State, you know, he could be in play there. I don't think it's unquestionable to think that Clark Lee would leave Vanderbilt, even though it's his alma mater. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jake. I do agree that I don't think Tennessee is a stepping stone job in the sense of the word, but they are not in the elite of the elite jobs where if you get the Tennessee job, you're never taking another one. There is a group of jobs, and LSU would be one of them.
Yes, it is. And again, he may not be LSU's first pick.
Right.
But LSU may not be getting their first pick or their second pick. And that's what we have to wait and see here. Derek Dooley wasn't Tennessee's first pick. He was like their 19th pick. Okay. But he's who they wound up with. And, you know, I don't think you'd have to go 19 down to get Josh Heupel. But if they're on their third pick, he might be a serious candidate. And I do think Clark Lee is staying because I think winning at Vanderbilt means more to him than winning anywhere else. He also finally has Vanderbilt in position, NIL-wise, stadium-wise, recruiting-wise, to be competitive moving forward. I could be wrong, but I would expect, you know, look, if Penn State comes and offers Clark $10 million a year, then maybe it's more than he could turn down. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. My expectation is that he stays. And I agree with you. LSU is one of those jobs.
Yeah, I don't think Heupel would leave for Penn State. I don't think Heupel would leave for Florida.
I don't think he'd leave for Auburn.
I agree, but I think LSU is in that tier of jobs that LSU, Alabama, Ohio State, like those are the elite of the elite programs where if they offer you the job and that much money that would come with the job, it is hard to say no. But we'll see.
There's a handful of those jobs. Some would say Notre Dame and Southern Cal are in that tier.
Yeah,
they're probably older people like me. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, Tennessee is a destination job, except for like we've said, those 5-6 jobs that are just considered to be above everything else.
Yes, Tennessee would be in that second tier of jobs at the top where there are very few places that could come and poach you. But one of those is open right now.
Yeah.
So
no doubt about it.
I wouldn't expect, I would put it at like 5% that Heupel ends up leaving. But
I'd put it a little higher than that.
But yeah, and I guess as they work their way through it, like Elko signed an extension, Signetti signed an extension, Rule signed an extension. It's like all these names that were hot, the list is dwindling down.
Like I wonder, like in their season didn't go the way that they expected to. You know, if Brett Bielema had a stronger year in Illinois, would somebody be coming after him? And they may not be now because Illinois hasn't had this. I mean, they were ranked like number 11. At one time.
They were top 10 team in the country at one point, I think.
Number 9.
Heading into that Indiana game, and then they got beat 63-10.
Yeah, and so, you know, but I mean, Brett Bielema could still wind up being a candidate somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Auburn might be on pick number 4. And they're like, hey, look, and we know Brett Bielema can coach. Let's bring him in.
No, it is a fair point. And there's going to be tons of movement because, again, as we say it all the time with the coaching carousel, every move that happens, another job opens up.
Well, and everybody thinks their job is the best job.
Yes.
And I think there's some delusional thing. Like I'm sure there are a lot of Auburn people who think their job is better than everybody's because we're Auburn. It's not. Number one, because you're number 2 in your state. That's just the way it is. But I mean, everybody thinks that, but there's just, and look, there are great coaches out there. it's up to the really. I mean, that's the one thing Danny White has done. He has found good coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, he went and took a chance on Nikki or on Caldwell,
Kim Caldwell.
He brought in Josh Heupel when nobody was that excited about it, and Josh Heupel, because you can't tell me people were excited about.
No,
Josh
they
Heupel.
were not.
They were not. They were not.
It was kind of a meh hire.
Yeah, and it was thought, oh, he was his guy, and he couldn't get anybody else, and maybe that was the case. But Heupel has still done a great job.
Yep.
And so if you're Tennessee and you lose Josh Heupel, I think you've got to have a belief that Danny White is going to find a good replacement. The other schools where they're just trying to take the top coach from everywhere, that's different.
Yeah.
But when you're actually looking in the sports landscape, because the Kim Caldwell hire was a swing for greatness.
She had 1 year coaching Division I
and
basketball.
He said she's a star and she's going to take us where we need to go. And I love that conviction, and I love that recognition of talent. It's like Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. Nobody knew who he was, but they met him and they believed in him.
Yep.
And so, these ADs, their careers are going to be defined by these hires. The ones that get it right will get another contract. The ones that don't will not.
Right. And the carousel starting to spin. James Franklin to Virginia Tech, the first big domino to fall. We could get more in the coming days. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. I mentioned we'll give away some Preds tickets. Let's do it now. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025. And you'll win a pair of tickets to see the Predators take on the Panthers at Bridgestone Arena on Monday, November 24th. That is a 7 o'clock puck drop. Again, caller number 3, 615-737-1025 to win a pair of Preds tickets for Monday's game against the Panthers. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Third hour coming up here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Final hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We're going to talk some Preds in this final hours. They are back from Sweden, back in action on the ice on Saturday. Also some Titans. And I did want to mention this. I told Cory this during the break. I think Dan Orlovsky might listen to Robbie and Rexroad, because Trey called in on my way in. I was listening right around it was like 8:20 this morning.
Yeah.
And he said, where are Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky talking about Cam Ward? Because they were pumping his tires after the draft. And even after week 1, Dan Orlovsky came out and said that Cam Ward might have been the best quarterback who played that weekend, even though the numbers didn't back it up. And Dan Orlovsky at 8:24 a.m. this morning. Reminder, Cam Ward continues to throw the ball exceptionally well. Highly attractive young quarterback to go coach. So I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe.
Correlation doesn't equal causation, but it is funny that Trey calls in and is asking why Dan Orlovsky's not pumping his tires anymore.
Yeah.
And Dan Orlovsky hits Twitter to pump Cam Ward's tires. Let's get into the Predators here. They were in Sweden over the weekend, split the games with the Penguins.
One.
They won in overtime 2-1 on Friday.
How much time was left when Forsberg scored?
Not a lot.
Like a minute?
Yeah. Final couple minutes. Then Stamkos wins it in overtime, but you lose 4-0 on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it down, every time they take a step forward and you start to feel like they're moving back in the right direction. After the game where they won on Friday, there was talk of we wanted this trip to be a turning point for us, and we feel like that can spark us. And then you go get beat 4-0 on Sunday. His team's not moving in the right direction, but as Robbie and Joe talked about this morning, the fact that we haven't heard anything on Andrew Burnett means that at least for the short term, he seems to be safe, and it looks like no immediate changes are coming for the Predators.
When you say no immediate changes are coming, that's on the scoreboard either. I mean, if you expect things to be different, and I'm not saying to fire Andrew Burnett, I'm saying either the coach has to go or some of the players have to go. It's got to be one or the other, because to continue down this path, you're going to get more of the same.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why we would expect different at this point. What's the record now? 7?
They are 6-10-4.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Okay. I thought they had more losses than that.
Well, they have
4 OT.
It would be 14 OT losses.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, but you have to consider they started 2-0.
Yes, they're 6-10-4.
Okay, so they're 4-10-4 in their last. What's that? 16 games, 18 games. They've won 4 of their last 18 games.
Yep.
And that includes the one they just stole in overtime.
Yeah, and they are last in the Central Division, and they are how many points out? I know it's way too early to be looking at this, but they're 7 points out of a playoff spot right now, with basically the entire Western Conference between them and the bottom. So it's going to be an uphill battle. You're going to need another long point streak if you're going to find your way back into playoff contention. And I don't seem to understand, if you were going to make a move, you got 5 days here. I said this yesterday, you had 5 days. You get back Monday morning probably, and you don't play again till Saturday.
Yep.
Isn't that the easiest time to make a transition if you're going to do it? And maybe Barry Trotz is showing patience, or maybe themes
maybe he's trying to trade those guys,
right? Maybe they're trying to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like I've said, continue down this path and expect a different outcome is insanity,
right?
Because this is who they are with this collection, with these players, with this coach. And I say that because these aren't the types of players necessarily that this coach likes to play with.
Yeah. This
coach wants to get up and down the ice. All right. He wants to play full sheet of the ice, forward and back, offense and defense. And that's not this team. And when you've got key guys on this team in the first 2 lines, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
And that's kind of what we were talking about with the disconnect with Brian Callahan and Cam Ward and Will Levis.
Yeah.
Those guys were not point guard distributors, which that's what Brian Callahan wanted. He wanted just a guy going to go back there, make the easy throws. And you didn't marry what the coach wants to what you want. And I understand Borgonzi and Brinker, They saw Cam Ward's talent and they said,
"Can you coach him?"
They were like,
"Of course I can."
Yeah, and Callahan's not going to say no. I don't want him.
Yeah,
and it's
He'll
kind of
Sam Darnold.
It's the same thing with Brunette and Barry. It's like Barry goes to Brunette. Do you want Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, and Brady Shea? The answer is not going to be no. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be yes, but yes, those aren't the guys who are typically fit for what Bruno's system is supposed to look like.
No, they're not. I mean, that's why his best year was the year they weren't supposed to be good.
With all the young guys.
Well, all the young guys who skated up and down the ice. And look, I'm not a Bruno apologist, because I'll just say, if you're going to stick with these players, it doesn't make sense to keep them.
Yeah. That's what we said in the offseason of what are you going to change? Because you were the third worst team in the NHL last year.
They expected these older players to suddenly buy in to be something that they're not.
It was the hope that you would get more from the guys that you expected to get more from last year. And, I can at least understand the regression to the mean of like, hey, Marchessault and Stamkos and Shea were not good last year. And you made some changes defensively. You bring in Haig, you bring in Perbix, and you thought maybe that could put a Band-Aid over some of the issues. And clearly it hasn't worked.
Nope.
The only real change you can make is the coach. And it doesn't seem like that's coming, at least in the immediate future. Maybe we get surprised and they make the move today, or they've been doing stuff behind the scenes.
That would be crazy.
Right. To wait 3 days and then do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, at this point, it feels like Brunette is safe, and you've got 5 games in 8 days coming up starting Saturday.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's it.
He's probably going to get at least the next 5.
Probably got to win 2.
I would think more than that, right? Like,
well, I mean, two.
I know that's a lot.
Is a massive improvement.
I know it's better than
10 and 4.
What they've been doing, but like at this point, just the status quo isn't going to be good enough for him to keep his job. He's got to start to show.
Points?
Yeah,
5 points in 5.
If you go
games.
like 2-2-1,
yeah,
I think that's. I mean, it's you get half your points. At least it's putting you. It's keeping you steady.
Here's the other thing: is the sentiment I hear and see all over. And it's one that I kind of shared. They're boring.
Right. I mean, that is the sentiment I hear from almost everybody. Like Alex Doherty at the Tennessean, I think, put out an article. It's like 10 things we know about the Preds. And the first one is they are painfully boring to watch.
And that starts costing you in your pocketbook.
Yeah.
And that's usually when stuff happens.
Yeah.
When it starts costing you money, then you got to figure stuff out. Because this isn't look, I know Jim Haslam's got a lot of money,
right?
But this isn't like the wealthiest team in sports.
Yeah.
So he's not going to sit here and go, "Hey, there's 8,000 people in the stands. What are we doing?" And I don't know what their attendance is, but it's going to suffer. It's going to suffer. Just is.
Yeah.
You start losing back-to-back seasons. Apathy kicked. Ask the Titans. I mean, I know people don't like to think that the Titans used to pack the stadium. They did.
Yeah.
They did. There used to be Titan flags up and down 65 headed to the game. All right. But when you're bad, apathy, it takes a lot longer to overcome apathy than it does for apathy to set in. That's the bigger problem that you've got.
I agree.
And so that's why they don't want to say, hey, we're going to rebuild. Because they still want to sneak into the playoffs and still want to be entertaining, all while they're trying to rebuild it. And I get that, but it's not working.
Yeah. And the game day experience at Preds games is better than the Titans games for sure. Like, I think there is more of a reason for a casual fan to go to a Preds game than there is a Titans game. But you're right that winning is what's going to pack those seats, and you've got to find a way to.
And you can sell tickets at 2-1 as long as you're on the winning side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you have thoughts on the Preds. We'll get to some of those coming up next. We've got some on the text line. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And again, we'll get back into the Titans towards the end of the show as well. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Few more segments on this Wednesday. Finishing up some Predators talk here. We'll get back into the Titans in the next segment. Preds coming off a split in Sweden. They have lost 9 of their last 11, I believe, back in action on Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. So not an easy game to come back for. And as 4055 says on the text line, he says the next 5 games we talk about trying to get 5 points out of them. They're not exactly easy games to go get 5 points. They play Colorado, Florida, Detroit, Chicago, Winnipeg. So like those are all either Stanley Cup contenders or like Chicago, who's been ascending.
We're not talking about winning them all.
Right.
We're talking about getting 5 points.
It might be tough to get any.
Well, I mean, you've got Forsberg, Stamkos, O'Reilly, Marchessault, Saros.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Yos is out.
Right.
But I mean, come on, they're not supposed to be this bad.
No, they're not. With the name value at least,
yes.
And like Barry Trotz said, the fantasy hockey of it all, like they should be better. But
yeah, in our fantasies, they're better.
Yes.
But this is reality, and they stink.
615-737.
They're like the Titans.
Right.
They're the worst team.
Well, and that's what we have Zach on the YouTube chat says. The Preds need to stay where they are and try to draft a great player in the top 3. That is the state of Nashville pro sports right now, is hoping your teams lose for a draft pick.
Yeah, well, I mean, hoping them to get to the playoffs is not realistic.
Right.
So I guess that's a more realistic option.
It's tough to be at this point on November 19th with both your football and hockey teams.
It's a long
both of them are looking forward to draft
Guys,
season.
we're not even to December, and we pulled the plug on the Preds.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like they always say American Thanksgiving, which is a week from tomorrow, is if you're in a playoff spot, at that point, you feel good about your playoff chances.
Well, I always remember with the Preds, like, we'd always say when the calendar turned, well, the playoffs start now because they're always battling for the 8th spot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already over.
Yes. Yeah, you're 7 games back and you've got traffic in front of you.
And they're not good.
Right, and they're not showing any signs of getting better.
No.
So it's tough. Nashville Pro Sports has been a rough couple of years.
It's been a vacuum.
Since the Preds playoff series with Vancouver. I mean, like that's the last real meaningful sports that have been played around here.
Well, I mean, unless you want to talk about Nashville SC.
Well, yeah, I mean, among the big two, of course, yes. Yeah, Nashville SC has played plenty of meaningful soccer lately.
So they are a vacuum of pro sports, and we know what vacuums do.
They suck.
They suck. Yeah.
615-737-1025. Let's go back to our phone lines. Charlie is on the line. Charlie, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you. The Monday night game with the Cowboys and the Raiders, the total was 49.5. And they had 49, and C.D. Lamb had gotten in trouble for staying out all night gambling. I think they benched him for the first quarter or whatever. And the Cowboys are up big time. It's 4th and 2 on their own, 4-yard line. He's wide open and absolutely just drops the ball. It was pretty blatant.
That cost me a fantasy victory, by the way.
It cost a lot of other people a lot more than that.
It did cost me some money, I think, too.
Yeah, but it's pretty in your face with what's going on. But I just pointed that out, man. Like I say, that was pretty blatant.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Charlie. Yeah, I didn't see that was actually the reason that they sat out Pickens and Lamb. Was that they were out gambling? But I guess you're in Vegas on a Sunday night.
Well, they have a curfew. Yeah. So and usually curfew is 10 or 11 the night before the game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guess with the game being a night game, it was probably a little bit later. That's why you'd say 4 or 11.
Yeah.
So I mean, and maybe they missed curfew by 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe they missed it by an hour.
You missed the you missed the first series. It's not like they punished them that much.
Well, and I know people are upset. What are you doing? You're benching these guys. Benching stuff. Look, he is a first-year head coach. He has to say, "I'm in charge."
Yeah,
he's got to do something. He can't just wipe it under the rug and let them know, hey, we can get away with this.
Yep.
He's got, is there some public shaming involved? Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's your crime. You committed it. You know the rules.
Yeah.
This is the National Football League. You have rules. They're trying to keep you out of trouble for a reason. And they have to show that whether you're C.D. Lamb and George Pickens or you're the 52nd and 53rd guy in the roster,
the rules apply to everybody.
Are the rules. And by the way, we're playing a team that sucks.
Yeah.
And so we're going to win anyway. All right.
Yeah, you can miss the first 3 snaps of the game. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But
yeah, accusing them of missing on the last play,
I don't know about that.
With what has gone on, I get it. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. And that is why that is what leagues worry about, is the integrity of the game.
People doubting it.
When people start doubting the outcomes as legitimate, like, was it Charlie?
Yeah.
Charles? When people start that is a huge problem.
Yeah. That's and you're looking at baseball right now and basketball have both had significant gambling issues. I mean, baseball, Clase and the just making Luis Ortiz miss pitches on purpose to win money. And then
like NFL players like to score touchdowns.
Right.
I have a hard time seeing one give up a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue if the NFL is probably the hardest sport to rig, right? Like of all the sports.
Depends on who you got.
Yeah.
You got the kicker.
Right. There are definitely ways to fix
kicker,
prop bets.
Get the punter, get the quarterback.
But because it's such a team game, like it is difficult to actually be able to guarantee you're going to be able to make that happen. So back into the Preds, 615-737-1025, our text line. Mike in Lebanon says, tanking in hockey doesn't work because of that stupid ping pong ball system. We will never win that.
That did not go their way.
And it's annoying in those lottery leagues when you are horrible and it's like, man, we should be rewarded. And it's up to the ping pong balls. Is it Gavin McKenna's the big name this year?
I don't know, but I'm not a huge ping pong ball fan guy, but I'm also not a fan of teams being terrible on purpose to pick first. I think the goal should always be to win.
Right.
Should always be to win, not to pick first.
Yeah. And I think in the NBA you need a lottery system because teams do tank in the NBA. Gosh, the trust the process Sixers, like that team was not trying to win basketball games.
No, they were trying to pick as high as much as they could.
Yes. And to anybody who's going to say, I just said the Titans aren't tanking, the coaches and players weren't tanking for the 76ers. They were going out there and giving their best. Yes. But the GM said, I'm going to put the worst team in basketball history on the floor and see if they can win any games.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's kind of what the Titans are doing right now. Like you trade away a bunch of players. Your team's not very good. I think the front office is perfectly fine losing games, but the coaches and players are not going out there trying to lose.
Yeah. I mean, and we can say the front office is fine losing games. They still want to see
progress.
They want to see young players progress.
Yep.
It's, there's a little bit of nuance to that.
Agreed. Jeremy in Clarksville says, Nashville doesn't care if it's a sports town. City leaders want it to be a tourist town. If Nashville draws tourists, the city is okay. We weren't talking about the mayor and those people. We were talking about like the city as in the fans out there. It's been a tough couple of years.
Look, Nashville's a great sports town. It is.
It is. When these teams win, this city rallies around them.
Yeah. But when they stink, and I got news for you. In Kansas City, if the Chiefs go 2-15 and 3-14, there's going to be empty seats there. Yeah. That is just the way it is. Number one, these games are all expensive as hell to go to. Why do you want to go to and watch your team stink?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. And so, and then, do I want to waste my Sunday? Because if I just watch it on TV, I can get up and leave anytime I want.
Yep, you can.
I don't have to dedicate my whole day to it.
Right.
And so there's a lot of nuance to it in that regard, but there isn't a team in pro sports that can escape their team being horrible year after year.
Yeah.
There just isn't.
It's
they all may have the greatest fans in the world. Yeah. We got the best fans in the world. You know what? It's easy to be the best fans in the world when your team is in the AFC Championship game 8 years in a row.
Right.
Yay me.
Yeah. The Titans fans, you look back at when this team was good, there was a good home atmosphere in that building. Now, yes, opposing fan bases do make this a destination city.
Yep.
And there's always going to be a strong contingent of visiting fans. But I remember being at the Monday Night Football game against the Bills in 2021 and walking up and down Broadway, and you might as well have been in Buffalo with all of the Bills fans. But you get into the stadium, and it was 80% Titans fans. It's like yes, it's a tourist city. It's a tourist destination, but Titans fans, Preds fans rally around their team when they're good.
I remember, I think it was 2000, and I know I'm going back like 17 years, but I just still, I remember, I think it was 2008 when they had Code Blue.
Yeah.
Was that Monday night?
Monday night
against the Colts and Peyton Manning.
Yes.
That place was electric.
Right.
I mean, it was electric. That was as good of an atmosphere. And I've been to a lot of football games. Okay. Pro and college. I've been to a lot of games. That was as good of an atmosphere as I've seen.
Yeah.
It was great.
And
it's great.
The Titans need to find a way to get back to that.
But the thing, it's got to be more than 1 year, 1 or 2 years.
You're not going to get that place packed with Titans fans just by going 9-8 next year.
Nope.
Like you've got to show real progress.
You've created this apathy.
Yeah.
And now it's going to take longer to get out of it than it took you to get into it. That's the way this works.
100%. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll talk more Titans on the other side. I've been want to have a conversation about Elikai Manor and his rookie season. And the strong start, he's kind of faltered the last couple of weeks. We'll have a discussion about the 4th round rookie out of Stanford after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory, Curtis, Parker, Kelly. Thanks for spending some of your Wednesday morning with us. Chasing Big Joe coming up at the top of the hour. Back into the Titans here. Alec Iamaner in his rookie season got off to a really strong start, but he has.
Can we say really strong?
For a fourth-round rookie.
He got off to a good start.
Yeah. I'll say got off to a strong start for a fourth-round rookie who was immediately a starter, and through his first four games, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns in his first 4 games, which
it was nice.
Again, it's not like he was lighting up the stat sheet, but it was a good start.
2 for 7, 4 for 6, 4 for 5, 2 for 7.
Yeah.
Those first 4.
His last 6 games, 183 yards and no touchdowns. So in 4 games, he had 150 and 2. His last 6, 180 and none. I think after the start to the year he had, and the Broncos game, he probably should have had more yardage because of the elbow gate and all that. But the idea was, maybe the Titans found themselves a number 1, number 2 wide receiver in Alec Iamaner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think he still has traits, and you want to see what he does with a full offseason and a new coaching staff. But I think the expectations at the beginning were that, Iamaner, he's going to be the best guy we got out of the 4th round. And honestly, if you had to ask me right now, I'd be more excited about DK and Helm than I am about Iamaner.
Yeah, he's on pace for 33 yards a game. So it puts him in a 500-yard season.
Yeah.
Which I would have taken before the season. But with the first 3 games, you were wondering if he could be a 800-yard guy. And with a strong finish, but he's hurt. So we don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
2 things. I think he definitely suffered when Calvin Ridley got hurt.
Yes. Got more attention.
Yeah, he got more attention because they didn't have to pay attention to Ridley. I mean, look, when you knew the Titans came in, Ridley may not be a world beater, but this is the guy we got to stop. And so by default,
when Ridley's out, the number 1 corner now is on Alec Iamaner.
Yeah, or just they don't have to emphasize it.
Yeah.
You're facing the same blanket coverage. And so I think that hurt him. But then going into the bye week, he did the press conference going into the bye week, and he admitted he was tired mentally, emotionally, physically. He was tired. And it happens. He's not, the fact that he said it is, I give him kudos.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time. I have seen a lot of rookies hit the wall. And he talked about having to learn how to pace himself a little bit more because he's basically been playing since last August.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he had all the season with Stanford. Then he's working to get up to the draft. And then he gets the draft. And then he's immediately with the Titans, doing rookie minicamp, OTAs. And it has not stopped for him. And then he's already played a full college season, and he still has 7 games to
left.
go.
Yeah.
So he's worn out. That doesn't mean he can't recover and rally. And like we said, he's not the first to kind of hit that wall. It's just, can you work through it? Can you get past it? Some guys find something the last month or so. We'll see if he can get there.
Yeah, and I think you're right that Calvin Ridley being off the field, you might think, this could open things up for Alec Iamaner. He's going to get more targets, but again, Ridley was the one guy on this offense that at the very least, I wouldn't say teams had to game plan around.
No,
but teams had to keep their eye on Calvin Ridley because he is talented enough that he could put up 150 yards on you and 2 touchdowns if he gets loose. Without him on the field, there's not really anybody that you point to on the Titans offense and say, that's a guy we got to stop.
Here's my big concern with Iamaner. And it's part Iamaner, part Cam Ward, obviously, but 28 receptions on 59 targets.
Yeah, and plenty of drops in there too.
That's below 50%.
Right. That's not good.
That's terrible. It's terrible. And there's probably 3 or 4 drops.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, so that number and Ridley was 17 for 36. He was also below 50%. Okonkwo's at 32 of 42. Helms at 24 of 30. The tight ends have fared much, much better. Van Jefferson is right at 50%. He's 17 for 33. So with all of the receivers and Cam Ward, you're seeing their number at 50% basically or lower. So that should tell you something. I think it's not just on the receivers.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a team thing, it's pass blocking, pocket, quarterback delivering the ball accurately. And that's a thing.
It's the ultimate team game. Like, I mean, if you don't have good protection, your quarterback's not going to get it off.
Yeah.
If your quarterback makes a bad throw, your receiver's not going to catch it.
And sometimes it may be a good throw, but the two people aren't on the same page where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And because there've been a couple picks this year where Cam's been behind the receiver, and he sticks his hand out, it pops up in the air, and it gets picked off. And was he expecting him to sit there?
Right. What was Cam saying? Hey, it's zone, sit down in the spot, and I'm going to hit you.
Or was he saying, no, there's more room over here? I'm just going over here. You needed to see this. You can get me the ball on the move, and and that goes with time.
Yeah,
that goes with time.
Yeah,
and you may say I'm making excuses. Fine, I'm making excuses. If it doesn't get better, then none of them stay. Okay,
correct.
All right, that's the reality.
That's how the NFL works.
Yeah, but so part of it is everybody's young. You got a lot of young guys working together.
Yeah, and Imanner, I still think is a piece of this team that you think can be a weapon for you moving forward. But it's become abundantly clear this season that those 2 fourth-round wide receivers, as much as I think they are
good,
showing promise and are going to be players next year for this team, you need a number 1 wide receiver.
They're not that alpha dog.
Right. You need to go find your Cam Ward go-to guy that is going to be your number 1. And the only place you usually find that is at the top of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about guys like, JSN, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, I mean, all of these guys.
Yeah.
You're looking for that kind of player. They don't grow on trees. But you can find them, and you don't necessarily have to. I mean, Justin Jefferson, where was he picked?
22nd.
Okay. So it can be done.
Yeah.
You just got to be smart. You got to be able to recognize it and see who are we going to get.
And we can talk about that coming up next because the Titans do have some big holes. Wide receiver, number 1 wide receiver, I would say would be towards the top of the list. Not that we're going to get into mock draft season, but Matt Miller did put out his first mock draft. And
it's a little surprising.
It's a little bit interesting. And we will wrap up the show with that coming up next. If you have any final thoughts, last call for phone, 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Final segment on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. A reminder, tomorrow, a TD Thursday, so Teron Davenport will be in for the full 3 hours. We will talk Titans, and Andrew Allegretta will join us to talk Vanderbilt football. Wrapping up the show, let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. T-Mac in Murfreesboro is on the line. T-Mac, thanks for calling. What's up?
Yes, I need to know, what is the deal with Xavier Restrepo? They're 1-9. All of the receivers I heard, I do not see anything wrong with putting the guy in and activating him. You have nothing to lose. Who do we, whether it's PD or something? Who do we need to get to ask the Titans brass or Mike McCoy or whoever the powers that be in the press conference, hey, what's the deal with Xavier Restrepo, and do you see getting him activated?
He has been asked this. He has been asked this, and he has said we'll analyze the situation just like we do every week. And T-Mac, it's a very valid question, and so we're not dismissing it all. We pounded this for about 30 minutes in the 9 o'clock hour, and we all agree it is time to see what the young man has got and if he can help your football team. But we also acknowledge this, and I think it's important for you to acknowledge this as well, that the Titans aren't the only team that has not played him. 31 other teams could sign him off the Titans practice squad at any moment. And they all agreed with the Titans that he was not ready to play in the National Football League. Does that mean he can't? No, it doesn't. But it just means to say there isn't an overwhelming sentiment in the NFL that this guy's going to go out there and be productive. Now, they're 1-9, all right? And the receiving core is banged up.
Yeah.
It's time to see if you've got magic in a bottle or not.
I agree. Because, other than him being at practice, you really don't know what he has. Because even in the preseason, he was getting passes from Tim Boyle. He does not have a connection.
What's Tim Boyle doing these days?
Where's Trevor Siemian? Can we get him back?
He's on the team. He's the third quarterback.
Is he?
Brandon Allen, whoever the guy is,
that's crazy.
Whoever's the backup.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Thank you for the call, T-Mac. No, you go ahead. Okay, T-Mac. I agree with you. We've talked about Xavier Restrepo. Yep. Corey even said, if we have to take 3 hours of Xavier Restrepo calls today, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I may not have put it that nicely.
Mike McCoy is going to speak to the media shortly.
And he has been asked.
He has been asked, and I would guess he's going to get asked again.
Yeah.
Any plans for Xavier Restrepo to come off the practice squad?
He is, and I'm just going to let you all know, he's not going to tell you, yes, we're going to play Xavier Restrepo this week. That decision will come on Saturday.
Yep.
When they make the decision who's elevated and who's not.
Yeah. If I had to make a guess, I would expect that Xavier Restrepo gets an elevation this week.
I would too. I would, especially with Chim DK having the chest contusion. Even if Chim DK plays, they're going to need a receiver to back him up in case he can't continue to play.
Yeah. So we will see what works out. But yeah, Mike McCoy likely going to get asked about it coming up in the next couple minutes. And I'm with you, Corey. I think the answer is going to be we'll make that decision later on in the week.
Well, and also because I don't think it's entirely his decision.
Right. I would assume Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brink are involved in those discussions as well. Before we wrap up here, we got a couple of minutes. I did mention Matt Miller released his first NFL mock draft, and we're not in draft season, but I did think it was interesting because
we're in draft season.
Well, we'd like to not be in draft season, I guess is a better way to put it. The Titans currently hold the number 1 pick, and a lot of the talk is, can they trade back? Is there a quarterback there that's worthy to trade back?
There will be.
Well, Matt Miller says he thinks there is. The Titans make a projected trade with the Jets. They get both of the Jets' first-round picks this year, which currently sit at number 4 and 28, and they get next year's second-round pick from the Jets.
I want more than that.
I agree.
I want more than that.
I think you would want 2 firsts and 2 seconds to move back to 4, or maybe 2 firsts, a second, and a third.
Yeah, I want more. I want more. I mean, come on. Didn't the Giants offer more last year?
They did. They offered, I believe, 2 firsts, a second, and a third. I think that was about
okay.
So
let's talk about that. Let's start there.
I think that's what it would look like. But yes, in this scenario, 2 firsts and a 2027 second to the Titans for the first pick. The Jets take Fernando Mendoza. Dante Moore goes 2 to the Browns, and the Giants take Francis Mauigoa, the tackle from Miami. The Titans at number 4. We were just talking. Titans need a number 1 wide receiver. You get it at the top of the draft. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State.
Look, if he is the best player, I'm all for it. I am going to say something that goes against the grain for most people, because most people are like, hey, we need a tackle, we need a corner, we need an edge rusher, and those are all true.
Yep.
You stink right now. You take the best player on the board.
Agreed.
All right? If he's in a position that's already filled, then find another place for that guy to play if he's better than that guy. I have seen too many teams pass up on great players because
we don't need them.
They don't need them. They got a guy, but they passed up on a Hall of Famer to do it. If he's the chances are the highest graded player on the board at 4 is going to be an edge, a tackle, or a wide receiver.
Yep.
Because the grades are weighted on the more critical positions.
Yes.
And so, if believe me, I would love to see them take an edge. Okay. I would love to see them take an edge. But if you think that this guy is your number 1 receiver and he's the highest one on the board, take him.
Right.
Take him.
And
take him.
For the Titans in this scenario, you move back from 1 to 4, and that is exactly where you want to be if the Titans. You see 2 quarterbacks and a tackle go off the board in front of you. You've got your pick of the litter of Jordan Tyson at wide receiver,
edge.
Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain. Whoever your favorite player is likely still on the board if you move back from 1 to 4 and you pick up an extra first, which in this spot, the Titans take Colton Hood, cornerback, Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean,
no longer spitting in the face of Vols fans.
You could take the highest corner, the highest edge, the highest wide receiver, whoever at that point off the board.
Yeah.
Whoever you think has the most value, because they need good players everywhere.
Right. And
right?
In this scenario, you would have 4, 28, and 33, 34, somewhere in there with
and
your
those
own
should
second round
all
pick.
be starters.
Right. And if you can go wide receiver, corner, edge, boom. That's 3 premium positions that you are now, at least you think, set at.
Well, and then let's talk about what's not so obvious. They've made a lot of deals to add 1 pick, move up with the other. Are they now armed to possibly move up?
Right. Could you package those picks and get back into the top 100 at the end of the 3rd round or something like that?
Yes. I mean, is that possible? Now I know those like 5th rounders aren't worth a whole heck of a lot on the chart.
Yeah.
But what if they want to get back into the 1st round with their 3rd pick, with their 3rd overall
pick? Yeah,
pick?
that's true. You could package, I mean, to get up from, at this point, they'd have the 33rd pick. If you go from 33 to 31, that probably doesn't cost you more than a 4th.
It shouldn't cost you most.
Like an early 4th.
But if it's a player you covet,
you go get him.
Go get him.
Yep. Agreed. And again,
you're talking about 3 starters.
Long way to go till April, but the Titans, that is an ideal scenario for the Titans right there. Is you get the second best non-quarterback in the draft and pick up an extra 1st round pick at the end, and you can fill some multiple holes quickly.
Look, there's going to be 6, 7, 8 teams that need a quarterback. See how I got away from that?
Yeah. Well done. Adding the 8, you saved yourself.
Yes, I did. There's going to be a lot of quarterback needy teams, and it only takes 1 to fall in love with somebody.
Agreed.
And also, even if say, well, I don't know. I mean, just somebody's going to need to trade up.
Yeah.
So, and I guess they could all just say, go ahead and take your best player. We'll just start drafting quarterbacks then. But that would be an unusual year.
There are plenty of desperate teams right now for quarterbacks. The Jets, the Saints, maybe the Browns. Like, there are teams that want to come up and get a quarterback, and there are
the
guys
Raiders
who
are going to need to get a quarterback.
There are guys who are at least in the realm of possibility. So long way to go till April, but there you go. That was the first mock draft from Matt Miller with the Titans trading back from number 1. That'll about do it for us. Cory, always appreciate you coming in.
I know. That's what I do.
Next week, I believe it's a shortened show. I have to confirm that because of Vandy men's basketball.
Will we still fit Trey in?
We'll find Trey calls at 9:15. We'll be on the air at 9:15. So we will get Trey in. Appreciate you coming in again tomorrow. Teron Davenport is with us all show on Thursday. Chase and Big Joe are coming up right after us here on 102.5 The Game.